Sports Radio, home of the low baggers, plus the cappers, gamblers and hustlers. We bust on boogies. Death with the bag, let's discuss. It's a must be the Loshak, giving you the keys to the money. Jimmy got a mantra, I like making money. Marquette holds it down, here's to the chat. I'm thinking about leche. Tell me where you at. Leche. 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 Leche.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to Loshak in the Bag for Tuesday, February 24th. Thank you guys for joining us. Shout out to Jose Bouquet and Jay Peasy for our new intro. Man, I'm loving it. Loving it. Great to see all of you guys here in the chat. We got Pig Milk play today in business. New Mexico double result stacks play today. Arizona State plus 6.5 and Tennessee, Missouri over 144.5. Let's get it all copied and pasted. Loshak will be here very shortly. We are coming off an excellent day. We had a very, very strong first week together. First show together. Well, I swept last week, and you guys know January was a horrific month. I don't know if I've ever needed to succeed as bad as I do right now. So we swept last week. It was very good. Went 1-0 yesterday. All is well. All is well now, but we must keep winning. Loshak last Tuesday went 10-5, while I went 7-4. So 10-5, 7-4, and it was great. And we also that's not including cashing our first LoBag Parlay of the season as we're back in business. That was a plus 228 banger that cash. Copy and pasting the action from cappers in the chat. Stacks play today in. And we have Billy Friedrich's play of the day also in. We are here we go. We are in business here. The Nuke Workers is on Eastern Michigan plus 10 at minus 110 to start it off. The Miami of Ohio hammer. I'm looking forward to cap that game. We can't cap every game on the college basketball card. I picked 18, 6 of which I've moved on. The other 12 I'm interested in moving on. So we'll get into this. I'll set up the college basketball card, and then Peter will set up the NBA card. Let's copy and paste Nuke Workers action. There is the Truth Teller in the house. Great to see you, Truth, my friend. Missing the Pacific Northwest this morning. Another freezing, horrifyingly cold day in Toronto. So missing badly the Pacific Northwest. But we have my co-host ready to join us. A spectacular start to Loshak Bag, but he's been crushing the Peter Loshak show. All records are up to date. All records are up to date with every single capper that is on the show all week. Every capper's records up to date. Some are good, some are bad, some are horrifying, like my college basketball record. But maybe working with this, my co-host will change things. Please welcome from Brooklyn. We got Mr. Peter Loshak in the house. Peter, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for accommodating me. Things are just a little bit rushed. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is cool, right? If I'm like a few minutes late in the show, you're talking talking to the comments section, shooting some shit, right? It's okay.
It's all good, Pete. It is all good. Welcome to the show. Copy and pasting the action from cappers in the chat. Res Mob cashing on Texas A&M. Respect play days. Won 9 of 11. He No Ball says, never been more ready. Never been more ready for a Tuesday here rocking with us. Great to see all of you guys. He No Ball. Never been more ready for a Tuesday. True Teller in the house. Ronnie Lofton. Vaughn Polo. Yes. Vaughn Polo, let's get you to drop a verse. We also have a new outro video that's in the works right now with another song from our Matty Ice, which we're really excited about. Morgan Spooner ready to get to work. TJ ready to eat. J-Dub, wine time here in the house. Chappie Funk. Great to see all you guys. Let's get J-Dub's action here copied and pasted. Make sure we have all of this, the solution, ready to get to work. Great to see all of you guys. Super true story. Rob Free Bands. Los Chudy says, Loshak, feed us some soccer picks. Malik Kingo, Rez Mob, Brant Hunt in the house. Man, Bear Pig, I was thinking about you. I'm like, God, I wanted to give a little bit more time before I sent out the SOS. Been taking a break in Mexico right now. Good to tune in again. Hope everyone's doing well. Great to hear from you, Rez Man Bear Pig. We've missed you, man. Peter, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, soccer's making things a little bit chaotic, but I am going to shout them out during the show. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that starts at like 2:45 today. So at about 2:00 p.m., I'm probably going to be half looking at all this stuff. Just so you know, Jim. You know what I'm saying?
No problem, my man. So we had a very strong Tuesday together, which I need desperately. When my college basketball record goes up, you will see why I need it so bad. January was, arguably the worst month I've ever had in my career. I'm trying to climb out of it in February.
I will tell you, in general, January usually is my worst month of the year. So I take things light every January, actually.
Yeah, it's back-to-back terrible Januaries. I also had a bad February last year, but then after Pupapalooza, I got as hot as I've ever been in my life, which I need to recreate badly. How did the rest of the week go for you?
This past week?
Yeah.
It was good, although I sent picks from Dave, one of my top-rated soccer total plays, which I top-rated, and it lost. So then I felt bad for a couple days, but now I'm back, baby. I'll shout out the Champions League stuff that I'm on today for sure.
Please do. Nasty Nate says 35 inches of snow outside his house. Rob Priya 5-1 Friday. Oh wow, yeah, VCU blowing that huge lead. 9 legacies action here in the chat. Peter, I'm just gonna pop out our link to the show here on X here. So I'm going to pop that out right now. Say what up to Spencer Hicks. We got 9 legacy. Give a couple shout outs and then we will get right into college basketball. No, I'll open up college basketball. Peter will open up NBA. Peter, give a couple shouts out and then we'll roll.
Oh, huge shout out. Let's start instead of the kumbaya shit, let's handicapping shit with Spoons Bets picks right here. He likes Marquette plus 3.5. That is defensible. That is a scary game, though, because Georgetown has lost a bunch of games in a row, and they need a win. That's a scary game, but I certainly understand it. Kentucky minus 5.5 against South Carolina is very interesting. South Carolina basically sucks, but they're kind of scrappy. I like the over in that one, and that has gotten bet up since the overnight line. Spoons Bets like St. Louis. I totally agree, and I would say I like first half even more, which I did pound. St. Louis first half, but can't disagree with full game. The other 3 picks, not so great as far as my handicapping in bets. He likes Bradley plus 3, which is understandable. I took a shot with Illinois, Chicago, although while I was doing it, I was like, I feel I've done this so many times. This feels like the wrong side, but I did it. And now I see Spoons Bets on Bradley, which makes me feel very nervous. He likes Florida State plus 3. You don't mind if I just talk a little bit, right, Jim?
No.
We'll go over this. Florida State has definitely turned a corner, which I talked about a few weeks ago. I was picking Florida State right as they turned the corner, and people said, "Man, that team sucks." And I was like, "No, I think they've turned a corner." So they have. Scary to bet against them, but Miami, Florida is a strong team as well, and they are, of course, it's a rivalry. They lost earlier, so I took Miami, Florida first half, not full game. Makes me feel very nervous. A bet on Florida State as a dog at this point right now is definitely justifiable. But I took Miami, Florida first half, and then the Auburn game. They're playing Oklahoma, right? I took Oklahoma first half. Again, just first half. Oklahoma sucks.
2 of those games
Auburn, of course, coming off of the crazy win against Kentucky, and so I certainly understand Spoons Bets. Loving that. I'm loving St. Louis. The other 3 make me very nervous, but we'll see. Again, the other 2 I took first half, so entirely possible we could all cash everything. All right, sorry, went on too long. Let's get to it, baby.
Shout out to Drewski in the house. Rob Free with his action. Kong's clips ready to get to work. I too was very uncomfortable when I saw Spooner's action, as I am on those same sides of that you're on first halves. I am on full games. I almost moved on Georgetown several times, and I managed to not bet it at this point. We will talk it out here. 6 bets. I've made 6 bets here. Georgetown was on the tip of my finger throughout the whole process, but I am on UIC against Bradley full game, which makes me very nervous to see
Yeah.
Our guy Spooner on the other side. And the Oklahoma-Auburn game, that's the last one that we're breaking down of the college basketball games, 18 on the card. I am on Oklahoma, so I'm very, very nervous here. But let's get right to work, Peter. Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to see if we can conjure up the magic that we had last week. Peter, 10-5. I went 7-4, and that's not including our 2.28 unit LoBag Parlay, the first of the season that cashed a very
Get out of here.
Easily,
all right.
Yeah, a lot of people bet it too. A lot of people bet that the LoBag Parlay as well. All right, let's get to work, Peter.
You knew something was up with that because usually I sit here and like waste time and annoy people, like wasting time just debating what I want to. Last week, no debate, no thought. I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, and I did too. Even though I moved that over in Latvia, Sweden to 5.5, which was fortunate, as I believe they only scored 6 goals, but that 5.5 was minus 155. The 6.5 was only plus 105. But let's roll here, Peter. We start at 6 p.m. Eastern. St. Francis Red Flash 6-22, 4-11 in the NEC at the New Haven Chargers, 13-15, 8-7 in the NEC. Jeffrey P. Hazell Athletic Center in West Haven, Connecticut. St. Francis Red Flash 354th, according to Ken Palm, while New Haven is 329th here. Shout out to Matty Ice jumping in with us. We got Drewski, Billy Friedrich. So here, I had planned on betting New Haven as soon as it was available. It was not available last night. I was waiting 11:30. I was waiting all night. And then the longer I sat with the game, I developed some cold feet, which I think will get me off of the spot entirely. This is last year's NEC champion, St. Francis Red Flash. 3 more conference games before they leave the NEC, and they head off to Division II obscurity. They come in off their 8th straight loss, 65-56 to Wagner in their final home game as a Div 1 team. We did see them in their second to last home game as a Div 1 team, almost beat LIU. I mean, they played that. I mean, they lose by 2 points to the number 1 team in the conference. That was important. Spooner getting me off of LIU. I'd planned to be on LIU in that game. They faced New Haven back on January 31st and lost 81-69 as 1.5-point favorites. This is St. Francis Red Flash team 1-12 on the road overall, 1-5 on the road this year in conference. Why would we not want to fade them here? It's just New Haven, who excels defensively, are they going to be able to beat a team here by margin? And this is legitimate margin that they have to win by. It is tricky. Brant Hunt on Michigan first half. That I spent a lot of time on that game as well, Brant. No move for me. Really wanted to hear what Wine Time was thinking about his Golden Gophers here. And Spooner saying they're actually dropping all the way down to Division 3, not even Div 2 here, St. Francis. New Haven comes in off their 3rd straight win, 84-77 at Fairleigh Dickinson as 2.5-point dogs. They shot 64% from the field and 61% from 3. I mean, this is a team that's prided itself on their defensive abilities. They erupt offensively, and I'm supposed to expect them just to do it again. And this is their first year in the NEC, so they can't play in the conference tourney. So these games don't have the same importance as they do to other teams in the conference. They're 5-5 overall at home versus Div 1 competition and 4-3 at home in conference. So I had planned to bet it as soon as it became available, and I have not bet it. I could have got the 6.5. It opened up at 7 at most books. 6.5 was the opener at 365. It's now at 7 there. The 7s I'm looking at offshores are all, a pick 'em. This total's a 141.5. It opened up at 142. It didn't move until 32 minutes ago. If we want cash flow information, we have to go to Action. I don't know how much we want to trust the site, the Action Network, but they're telling us that 51% of the tickets, 61% of the cash is on New Haven, 64% of the tickets, 59% of cash is on the over. Peter, what do you think of me not pulling the trigger on the New Haven Chargers? And it was my plan for 5 or 6 hours to do so. And what do you think of this spot? Take it away. This is our first game on the card.
It was my plan. It was my plan for 5 or 6 hours to take a look at this game once I finished everything else I wanted to do, but it didn't happen. Sometimes I just didn't look at it. I'm sorry. Don't have any opinion.
No problem. So that is our first spot on the board, NEC action. And anybody who wants to look at the games that we're going to be talking about, they are on our video description, every single game that we will be breaking down today. Let's move on. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We heard from the Nuke Worker. He is on the Eastern Michigan Eagles here in Ypsilanti, Michigan, facing the undefeated Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Miami of Ohio ranked 84th, according to KenPom. Eastern Michigan, all the way back to 241st. Miami of Ohio keeps humming along, coming off their 91-77 home victory over Bowling Green on Friday's 8.5-point dogs. This is their lone meeting with Eastern Michigan this year. Eastern Michigan comes in off their 9th loss in 10 games, falling 94-75 at Toledo on Saturday's 8.5-point dogs. 6-5 overall at home versus Division I competition, and 3-4 at home in conference. Malek liking that first half New Haven team total over 35.5 for Malek. I guess I'm just going to stay off it now. Shout out to King Al in the house. So let's take a look at the line history here for game 2. Game 2. Sorry, move this over here. Game 2, 6:30 p.m. banger here. This total 153.5. Opened up at 153. Just a half-point move to the over. And from a point spread perspective, we have a 10. This opened up at 8.5. And the first move was towards Eastern Michigan. This was an 8. This didn't move back to the 8.5 until this line being available 4.5 hours. It didn't move in favor of Miami of Ohio until this line had been out for 6 hours and 20 minutes. It did, though, get up to a 10.5 at 2:30 in the morning, stayed there until 7 in the morning, sitting here at a 10 right now. And if we go to the cash flow, we got Taint in. I will be copying and pasting that right now because it's a very interesting game. And I almost joined them. Here, that line moving towards Akron, tricky here. To cash flow though here for this Miami of Ohio spot, we have 73% of the tickets, 67% of the cash on Miami of Ohio. Interestingly enough, if you go to the legal American books, all are at 9.5, except for Circa and South Point, who are hanging 10s. So they're telling us that 73% of the tickets, 67% of the cash is on Miami of Ohio. According to Action Network, they're telling us that just 19% of the tickets are on Miami of Ohio, but 91% of the cash, all the big bets coming in on them. Peter Loshak, game 2 on today's card. Take it away.
Who I definitely looked at it, but I have no opinion. Might do something live or at the half, but pregame, obviously, Miami, Ohio, great. Eastern Michigan has been excellent ATS all year long, although the last few games a little bit iffy. So this is just, free bet. I'd throw it on Eastern Michigan, but I think that those lines that you quoted, leaning to sharper books, leaning towards Miami, very telling. Pass for me. Interesting game, but just can't pull a trigger on it.
We have Ronnie Crawford spreadsheet play of the day in. We got Matty Ice Taint play of the day in. Sean, my man, no worries on the boys tablet, man. Respect, Sean. Man, we are almost a month away from Pub 5. And wasn't he a star of Pub 4? Wasn't he Money in the Bank, man? He was so much fun to hang out with. Sean coming all the way from Jersey to rock with us, man. Shout out to our guy, Sean Pulliam in the house. Great to see you, man. Rob Free Bands took Miami first half money line only because the Florida State game. Okay, I'll copy and paste that. Make sure I've got that locked in. And Billy Friedrich saying Eastern Michigan 4-0 against spread is home underdog this season. And Ronnie Crawford says Molly's coming home today. Oh, beautiful. Peter, Ron Crawford's daughter Molly, whom we love very much here, great friend of the channel, was in the hospital, had a emergency gallbladder surgery, and then there was something that and the second work that had to be done, and so she had to stay over the weekend, and she gets to come home today. That's wonderful news.
Great.
Wonderful news. Shout out to the Ron Crawford family. And look at that. Nice. Look at that. Sean Pulliam says should be in the building. Look at that. And we find out about Kong's clips this week too. Should be in the building. Jose, 4-hour pub list. Sean Pulliam going to be rocking with us, man. Add him to the list. Wonderful news, Ron, my friend. Okay, let's roll on to the next spot on the board here. And speaking of our friend Ron Crawford, we have arrived, Peter. If you're listening at work on headphones, you might want to turn it down for a little bit. We have arrived at Ron Crawford's and I am with them on this, Peter. I am with them on this, except I bet the first half instead of the full game, plus 3.5 at minus 105. Kong, it's huge news, man. Huge news. Now, look, it's not in our control anymore. So let's just not put too much pressure on it. And if it doesn't go through, these things happen. Let's not talk about how badly we want you down there. It's not going to help. So let's just leave it to the powers that be, and then we'll make moves from there. But man, do we want it badly. George Washington Revolutionaries, 15-12, 6-8 in the A10 at the LaSalle Explorers, 8-19, 4-10 in the A10. We're at John Glazer Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. George Washington ranked 80th according to Ken Palm, and you got to go all the way back to 222nd to find LaSalle here, Peter. George Washington just had their 2-game winning streak snapped in an 89-75 loss at VCU last Tuesday, 6.5-point dogs. And they beat LaSalle badly at home, 77-55 back on January 3rd as 16.5-point dogs. George Washington, though, 2-6 on the road this year, 1-6 on the road in conference. They won their first road game in conference, and they've lost 6 straight. It's very difficult to not want to fade them here, and I faded them. Now, T-Moss on the other side with George Washington. I mean, how can you have a team that's a 7-point favorite, opened up at 6.5, went to 7, that's lost 6 straight games on the road, and has won 1 game on the road of those 7 in conference? T-Moss says LaSalle's just awful. I hear you, T-Moss. They are. They're coming off snapping their 6-game losing streak with a 59-46 win at home over Rhode Island's 3.5-point favorites. They're 6-5 overall at home. They're 3-2 at home in conference. And I need 20 minutes from them, Peter. I need 20 minutes. They're sitting here at a 7 right now. It opened up at 7 after an hour and 20 minutes, moved to 6, back up to 7, 6.5. I had a chance to move at 6.5. I had a chance to move at 7. I didn't want to double down on this. And I was afraid of the 40 minutes of George Washington getting their shit together. This total opened up at 146.5, then moved to 146. 57% of the tickets and 90% of the cash, 90% of the cash on George Washington. And yet, there's 1-7 on the legal books at Fanatics. Everywhere else is 6.5, despite all this money on George Washington. Now, not all the books have let us know, what their handle at this point. Shout out to Just My 2 Cents in the house, TC. And then we have here from a money perspective from Action, if we choose to believe it, they say that it's just the schmucks on LaSalle, Pete. They say that 9% of the tickets are on George Washington and 92% of the cash is on them. And it's just us public schmucks on LaSalle. Now, we're not getting that information. We're getting very different information from Odds Logic. 51-55 on the over, Peter. Game 3 on the board. Take it away.
When I was definitely leaning / liking LaSalle at the first line +8. Didn't pull the trigger on it. I mean, LaSalle definitely 3 straight impressive covers. Good at home, ATS, dog wins, all that. So, I'm leaning LaSalle and definitely leaning under. And I might make under official. Games like these, when there's a big dog that seems a little bit too big, it's not exactly sure what's going on. Sometimes my total read is maybe better than my side read. But, yeah, definitely leaning LaSalle and under.
Let's roll on to the next spot here. Lots of time and opportunity for Peter Loshak to pull triggers. And we'll see if he moves on that one. I have the first half plus 3.5 minus 105. We move on, Peter, and this spot was insane to me. And I still haven't bet it. But here you have a Washington Huskies team that's under 500 and is ranked 47th. Yeah, 47th nationally. Under 500. By far the highest rated team that's under 500. And they're sitting here as 5-point favorites on the road in Piscataway, New Jersey. As far away as you can get from Washington. I guess Florida to be further. This was insane. Washington ranked 47th. Rutgers ranked 150th. Washington opened this 2-game mini trip with their 4th loss in 5 games, falling 64-60 at Maryland on Saturday. And they were 4.5-point favorites there. This is their lone meeting with Rutgers this year. They are 3-8 on the road overall this year and 2-7 on the road in conference. And, I did not know. Obviously I wanted to bet Rutgers, and I thought anybody who would look at this would bet Rutgers. And then I was right. Everybody was on Rutgers, and this line was moving very slightly towards Rutgers, moved back to 4.5. Pick the pros and ponies is on Rutgers money line. Rutgers comes in off having their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in the 80-61 loss at Minnesota on Saturday's 8.5-point dogs. They are 9-6 at home overall this year, but they're just 3-5 at home overall in conference. This was just nuts. I just, I can understand people saying, look, this is a gift, take it. I just thought this looked too easy and just stayed off of it. Not that I can't move on Rutgers, but it just, this total opened up at 142.5. It's dropped to 140. There's been a big drop recently. And then on the point spread here, we have the 4.5s right across the board. This opened up at a 5.5. 3 hours later, it moved to 5. Now it's at 4.5. I just found this, too inviting, which made me uncomfortable. Of course, everybody betting Rutgers, 71% of the tickets and 89% of the cash. The plus 4.5 is juiced at Circa, which is good if you're on Rutgers. So they've moved it from 5 to 4.5. They have 95% of their cash on Rutgers. Of course they do. Everybody betting Rutgers. The solution also on Rutgers money line. And when we get to the action cash flow to see if there's any different information here, see if I can get to it within decent time. Sorry, I missed it here. Yes. They have 91% of the tickets on Rutgers and 32% of the cash. This is nuts. Peter. Can you... Now, I understand from a statistical profile of the season and the KenPom rankings that this line would be 5. But here's a team that seemingly sucks on the road, 2-7 on the road in conference, and they're 5-point favorites at Rutgers. Now, they've already, acclimatized themselves enough because they just played against the Terps, in Maryland. Take it away, Peter. Next one on the board, Huskies, Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said I agree with. First line I saw was 5.5. And I also like the under more, and that has dropped. I liked under 142.5. It's now down to 140.5. I think I still like that a little bit less though, but I still like it. And free play, I would put it on Rutgers. The line kind of doesn't make sense, but sometimes these, you see this a lot. In fact, with Rutgers, right? Wasn't Rutgers, but they were like a dog against who was it, like Michigan State or someone. And it was like I was talking with Justin McKelvey about this. I was like, they got to be a good bet. I think they wound up winning outright. Didn't think they were going to win outright. But yeah, a lot of times these, obvious situations just are obvious. They're not going to cash every time, but the value's there. Yeah, I definitely like Rutgers at 4.5 and still the under at 140.5.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to move on it here. But
right, it was a Michigan State game. It went to overtime. They were a 15-point dog. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna move on it right now, but I get uncomfortable when something feels too easy here. Let's roll on, Peter. 7 p.m. Eastern, our next spot on the board. The now number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils, 25-2, 13-1 in the ACC at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 12-15, 3-11 in the ACC. We're in South Bend. Duke ranked 2nd, according to KenPom. Notre Dame 87th. Duke comes in off its most impressive win of the season, beating then number 1 Michigan on Saturday at Capital One Arena in D.C. in front of 20,000 plus. As 3.5-point dogs, got the perfect opportunity for both teams to get ready to what it's going to feel like come March Madness. This is their lone meeting with Notre Dame this season. Notre Dame comes off their 6th loss in 7 games, 73-68 at Pittsburgh on Saturday's 3.5-point dogs. They're 9-5 at home overall this year, just 2-4 at home in conference. And Peter, now this is just again me just wanting to fade Duke off of that huge win, and so how long would I want to fade Duke for? Just 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. But there was a big first half move towards Duke, and that just allowed me the opportunity to sit and wait and talk to you guys about it. Right now, Notre Dame is at plus 17. They opened up at plus 18. This is where we used to play poker. A lot of 17.5s on the board. And then let me just look at the first half because there was a big move towards Duke first half. And maybe this is just optional misery here. So there's not been a move, offshore there. The move was a Costa Rican couple books that work together down there. Not both of them are actually there, but and this opened up at 9, Peter, at this book. Very sharp offshore at 8:09 a.m. At 8:15 a.m., this moved to 10.5. 6 minutes later. That's a powerful move. A very powerful move, and maybe it's a powerful enough move for me to do nothing here. Let's take a look at the total, full game total here on this one. We have Notre Dame right now, or the 140. It's just 140 right across the board. That doesn't tell the story. This opened up at 140 yesterday, moved down to 139.5, and then shot up at 5 p.m. to 142. So we're now where we started, but Root was a little, it did move. Didn't just stay at 140. And then when we get to the cash flow, 79% of the tickets and 94% of the cash is on Duke. 94% of the cash, and yet they've moved this line at circa from 17.5 to 17. Sorry, 17.5 to 17. 83% of the tickets, 93% of the cash coming in on Duke, and they moved it a half point towards Notre Dame. I'd love to hear that. I am on the first half. There's our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh. Great call on the Spurs last night. Dutch, my man, excellent work. Take it away here for us, Pete. Blue Devils fighting Irish in South Bend.
Yeah, I definitely, agree with your analysis, and I like Notre Dame here, but definitely not first half. And that was when I was looking at this overnight. Full game is what I would like, and a small lean to the under as well. I liked it at 139.5. I think it might have gone up, but Duke is just dominant inside. But this is a classic situation where Notre Dame, no matter who they have in there, is definitely going to be fighting to the end, even if they're down 23, whatever. And Duke has obviously great deep players, but I was leaning Duke at 18. I didn't bet it though.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to stay off of it, unfortunately. I mean, that's just such a blatant move. The 9 to 10.5. Somebody comes in, bets Duke first half that they respect and move the line accordingly. And then they sit there, leave it there at 10.5. We got Dutch moving on the Cleveland Cavaliers. NBA just after NCAA basketball. We'll copy and paste this. Dutch, thank you for sharing that with us. Let's roll on, Pete, because these were two spots that I was going to bet. The line moved a half point or more in the direction of the teams I wanted to bet. And I sat there like a moose in the headlights. And then finally, before the show, I bet them. This is a number that I've struggled with, Pete, the 6.5, 6 favorite. It's a number where my ROI is negative, which is why I didn't move on it. And I was sitting there waiting. But I felt like in both these instances, we're going to start with NC State and then get into the Cincinnati Bearcats. How do you not fade these teams after what they just did? And I had to. So I'm on the Virginia Cavaliers, whom I like very much. But it's just this number kind of haunts me. NC State Wolfpack 19-8, 10-4 in the ACC. Virginia Cavaliers 24-3, 12-2 in the ACC. We're at John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville, Virginia. Shout out to our guy Jason Meyer, the El Dorado custodian in the house. NC State ranked 25th nationally. Virginia ranked 18th. NC State comes in off their most impressive win of the season, taking out North Carolina, their rival, 82-58 at home last Tuesday's 8.5-point favorites. Opened up at 6.5-point favorites. I got in at 7. Now NC State, dealing with injuries. North Carolina was dealing with injuries, but NC State lost badly at home to Virginia back on January 3rd, 76-61 as 4.5-point favorites. They were down 40-20 at halftime. They're 6-2 on the road this year. Very good road team. 6-1 on the road in conference. Virginia comes in off its 8th straight win, defeating Miami 86-83 at home on Saturday as 7.5-point favorites. And I moved on them. And I'm nervous. Very, very nervous here. let's get into the line history. First off, this total is a 150.5. Opened up at 151.5, got up to 152.5. Now it's down to 150.5. Virginia just has so much length that they can throw at you. They're a team I'm interested in backing come tourney time. From a spread perspective, we have 6.5s across the board. That's what I moved on. I moved on that 6.5. This opened up at 6. It went down to 5.5 at 7:16 in the morning. Back to 6. Now it's at 6.5. And cash flow here for this spot. We have, let me get to this. Virginia here. Sorry, we have 56% of the tickets, 68% of the cash on Virginia. Of the legal books, Superbook has moved it to a 7. The other ones are all hanging 6.5s at this point. And then if we ask or look into actions information here, which I'm very hesitant to do, but why don't we take a peek here? They'll have, so for the Duke Notre Dame game, action has 86% of the tickets, 35% of the cash on Notre Dame. So Notre Dame being very public. Here, it's a number I'm comfortable with. 50% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on Virginia. And then you have 53% of the tickets, 42% cash on the under. AM had this projected NC State +3 here. Dimitri says 5 minutes away for Virginia, says going to blow up today. Take it away for us here, Peter. I am on the Cavaliers in Charlottesville, -6.5. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't like to see AM like in the NC State at +3, but I agree with you. I think that NC State is a very, very impressive team. I don't have a problem betting on them at home, even laying points to another team that when I was all over NC State against UNC last week. I forgot. I had the under and NC State first half. Forgot, but until AM posted his comments here, I was confidently liking Virginia, and just to be safe, I was probably going to take them with like a money line parlay. I like to do that sometimes, Jimmy the Bag. Take it, just in case you lose by the hook or something like that. I'd be very willing to use Virginia full game money line in a parlay, and I probably will.
Yeah, that's how I should have done it. I mean, I guess I could have just tied Virginia money line to my next spot on the board. I'll leave it as a note here. Okay, so Peter, I'm on the Cavaliers -6.5 here, Virginia. By the way, Nasty Nate moving on to Red Sox Yankees money line parlay at +151 starts in 20 minutes. And DC Capper bookie buster play of the day is Kent State. Kent State -10.5. Let's get that right under Dutch's Cleveland Cavaliers action. So Peter, this is the one that I really felt similar to them, although it felt like the market was more excited about this Texas Tech spot than they were for Virginia. So let's move on to Cincinnati Bearcats, 15-12, 7-7 in the Big 12. At the number 16th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders, 20-7, 10-4 in the Big 12. United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock. Cincinnati ranked 46th. Texas Tech ranked 15th, according to Ken Palm. Cincinnati comes in off its most impressive win this season. I mean, they just won 84-68 at Kansas on Saturday's 8.5-point dogs. I was listening to the game on the radio, and they were just going nuts. And a couple of them were on ESPN Game Day afterwards. This is a Bearcats team that's 2-6 on the road this year, 2-5 on the road in conference. Now, that doesn't tell the story because they've won 2 straight on the road. They won 91-62 at Kansas State before beating Kansas. This is their lone meeting with Texas Tech this year. Texas Tech bounced back from their 72-67 loss at Arizona State by beating up on Kansas State 172 on Saturday's 12.5-point favorites. Texas Tech is 13-1 at home this season. And I felt obliged to fade the Bearcats off that spectacular win. I mean, they feel so good about themselves. It used to be a horror show when they went on the road. It is no longer. This is sitting with Texas Tech -6.5. This opened up at 5.5. It's a 6.5 right now at -110. A 1-point move towards Texas Tech. And then from a total standpoint here, we have a 141, which is, it doesn't tell the story because this got up to 143.5 at 9 in the morning, but we're right back at 141. And when we get to the top and topping out. Yeah, it's going to be out for a long time. And when we get to the cash flow here for this spot, we have 79% of the tickets, but just 62% of the cash on Texas Tech. 78% of the tickets on the under, 91% cash on the under. Take it away for us here, Peter Loshak. Bearcats, Red Raiders.
This one definitely scares me. Let me just find my notes. These are both teams that I really don't want to be betting against right now, and especially Texas Tech got the ball. A lot of guys really stepped up when Toppin went out, and how long is that going to be something that they can maintain? Jury's out. That could easily end tonight, or it could easily extend to the end of the regular season. Either one of those things in college basketball is entirely possible. So, free play, sure, I throw it on Cincinnati getting all those points because they're a team with some life too. Although it's moved in Texas Tech's favor, which is very interesting. And tiny lean to the under, but didn't bet that. And that's my take on it. Just two teams that I don't want to bet against, and huge unknowns surrounding the Texas Tech program right now. That last game was impressive. Go ahead.
This line moved. This line got to 7 at Penny, and now it's back at 6. So
it probably lands 6. Probably Texas Tech wins by 6.
And
free bet, that's what I put it on. Texas Tech by 6 and a huge dog line.
And Acacia saying Texas Tech will be eliminated in the first round now with no Toppin. Spooner saying Cincinnati has 2 6'11" starters. I just hearing them after they beat Kansas. I guess I was just resigned to fading them in their next game, and we'll see how that is all handled here. Let's roll on, Peter, to a big one. We have cappers here. Morgan Spooner, one of them. Flank Stake, my man 9 Legacy, also on St. Louis. We have 2 cappers here in our chat backing St. Louis here. Man, did they flip the switch against VCU? I was just astonished. It just that snowball got bigger and bigger. There was nothing that VCU could do. It was a very, very impressive performance by St. Louis. I mean, they have 5 guys in double figures. They have 7 guys averaging like more than 9.4 points per game. The team is, as my late great friend Tim Steve's mom would say, they're deep as the ocean, baby. St. Louis Billikens 25-2, 13-1 in the A10. Dayton Flyers 18-9, 9-5 in the A10. UD Arena, Dayton, Ohio. St. Louis ranked 24th. Dayton ranked 86th. AM says St. Louis minus 13 is the projection, saying books want St. Louis money. The pick, the pros and ponies saying St. Louis is for real. St. Louis bounced back from their 81-76 loss at Rhode Island by defeating VCU at home on Friday, 88-75, 8-point favorites. Dayton comes in up their third straight win, 78-66 at home over Duquesne on Saturday, 6.5-point favorites. Dayton lost badly at St. Louis, 102-71 on January 30th as 9.5-point dogs. In that game, the Billikens shot 63% from the field and 61% from 3. Dayton is 13-1 at home this year. Spooner says, M the Great says Dayton looks good. Acacia looking at the under. Spooner saying line moved against me. I like this at 5.5. I bet it at 4.5. I don't really get the line movement, says Spooner. Let's go over that aforementioned line movement. We have a total at 156.5. This opened up at 155. So this total shot up. This was a 155 flat at 6:15 last night. Shot up to 157.5 at 9:30, and it hasn't moved since 9:40 p.m. Then on the point spread here for this Billikens Flyers game, we have down to a 3.5, Peter. Good God. Down to a 3.5. Opened up at 6. Dropped down to 3.5. I know watching these games can really mess your head up. And, watching St. Louis flip the switch on VCU, I knew it was just going to play in my head over and over and over and over again. We get to the cash flow for this spot here. We have, let's see where we can get. We have 56% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on Dayton. Circus still hanging a 4. Southbook still hanging a 4. They're the only ones left. Last ones left. And then from a total standpoint here, we have 80% of tickets, 90% cash on the under. Peter Loshak, take it away. DC Capper on St. Louis, the solution on Dayton, money line, Kripke on Dayton plus the points. At this point, I don't have anybody suspended, but I'll look into it more. Pick the pros while Peter's breaking it down. Take it away, Peter.
I'll take St. Louis first half money line minus 145. I'm not going to do the 1.5 or 2. Dayton's a nice little team. But St. Louis is elite.
No players are going to be suspended. Sorry, keep going.
And I think they're going to want to turn it up here, especially early. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I might do something live if it's not how I expect it to go. But we'll make that official. St. Louis first half money line minus 145. And you know what else, Jim? I will add Washington team total under 72.5 minus 112. I wish I was getting 74, which is what the opening line would have been, but I'll take 72.5 minus 112. And I'll also do a money line parlay, Virginia with Morehead State money line parlay at this big, offshore book. That'll be, what will that be? Minus 144. I could add on some other huge ones to bring it down to like 115 or so, but I'll just stick with those two, minus 144. So those are 3 plays, and definitely St. Louis first half money line minus 145.
All right, you are in business, my friend. You are in business. Great to have you here. Pick the pros and ponies. Ronnie Lofton going to be rolling with Spoondog here. You have Matty Ice on Dayton money line, J Dub on Dayton a plus 4.5. Let's roll on, Pete, because this one is fascinating. We have backers of Marquette here. We have Spooner on Marquette, and he's not alone. I thought I had somebody else here on Marquette. I'll be going through all this. You mean the other way around, Jay Vegas? But yes, St. Louis smashed Dayton. A huge win over that game. Huge. We'll see if there's a rebuttal. But here we have Marquette Golden Eagles, 9-18, 4-12 in the Big East at Georgetown Hoyas. Oh, it's Justin McKelvey on Marquette as well. I'll get this copied and pasted. Well, I guess it's good that I didn't move on it. God, this was queued up twice for me, Pete. Queued up twice, and I just could not press the button. We're at Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. Marquette ranked 99th, according to Ken Palm. Georgetown ranked 79th. Marquette comes in up their third straight loss, falling 76-70 at home to St. John's last Wednesday as 8.5-point dogs. They lost at home to Georgetown back on December 17th. Back on December, there was a thought that Shaka's team might be okay. They were 6.5-point favorites in that game. 6.5-point favorites. We have a 10-point swing in their game 1 to game 2 versus same opponent. Why? Because Marquette's 0-10 on the road this year. 0-10. Georgetown comes in off their 4th straight loss, falling 51-47 at Seton Hall on Saturday, 6.5-point dogs. They shot 27% from the field and 17% from 3. They lost to a Seton Hall team that went 0 for 18 from 3. Imagine losing to a team that goes 0 of 18 from 3. Georgetown 8-6 at home overall this year, but 2-6 at home in conference. This one is wild. I wanted Georgetown. I wanted them to bounce back. I don't know how, with the spread this small, they need to win this game basically. But, if they can stay within one possession, we're sitting here with the 3.5. This line's just been sitting here. This 3.5, so it moved from 3 to 3.5 towards Georgetown at 4:42 p.m. yesterday. It's just sitting there. 20 hours later, and we have not moved a penny, which means the books are comfortable where the money's coming. And when we get to the total here for this, we have a 150.5. This has climbed up from 148.5. The moves were all last night. This total is not moving. Solution says Georgetown rolls. Boozen says Marquette smash. We get to the cash flow for this one. We have 58% of the tickets, 78% of cash on Marquette. This one is crazy to me. We have no information on the total. Not that I need that, but I want to see what action is doing for the spread. They have, 46% of the tickets, 41% of the cash on Marquette. So very different story. 62 and 50 on the under. Peter Loshak, I mean, God, Justin and Spooner on Marquette. It's not appealing to get to the other side, but I just think that Georgetown should be able to bounce back here at home. What are your thoughts?
I hope that everyone at Pub Sports Radio who bets this game cashes, but I don't think that's possible. I'm off it. Pass for me. Crazy game, interesting game, fun game. I might have something at the half or live. Pre-game, not going to touch it. No way. Either team could win this one by 15.
Let's roll on here. I guess I don't want to. I'm not going to get in the way of this, but how does that team not bounce back offensively? Nasty ain't looking at Georgetown first half. All right, so I think I should have probably waited here with this Louisiana Raging Cajuns Troy Trojans spot, but the Sun Belt is heating up, man. I mean, we're sitting here right now with 1 week remaining, and there's a possibility of a 4-way tie for first place for the second straight year. App State has a half-game lead. They come into this final week, and their only games at Texas State. Texas State, 15-1 at home. So there's a real high probability that they lose. And then, of course, here we need Troy to win. The problem with Troy right now is they're sitting here with Theo Sang, their starting center, out. I was under the assumption he was returning this week. Now, of course, they have another game on Friday, so it doesn't mean that he returns today. There was an early move towards Troy, and I was like, oh, Sang's back. And they're going to take care of business. And I was on the Raging Cajuns here. I was on the Raging Cajuns last week. There's times to back them and be successful. And here I wanted to fade them. And I think by this move back to the Raging Cajuns, they're telling us that Theo Sang is not going to be in the lineup today. So the Raging Cajuns ranked 302nd. Troy ranked 161st. Cajuns snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 67-54 win at home over Texas State on Saturday as 3.5-point dogs. Now, they lost badly to Troy at home, 90-70 back on January 10th. This is a team that's 3-11 on the road this year. That doesn't tell the whole story because they're 3-4 on the road in conference. Troy comes in off their third loss in 4 games, all on the road. They're coming back home where I think that they deliver. They just lost 65-54 at South Alabama on Saturday's 2.5-point favorites. They shot 25% from the field and 24% from 3. They're 5-3 at home this year versus Div 1 competition, 5-2 at home in conference. But I'm sitting here with a -12 like a schmuck. And I probably should have waited for the Sang information. Let's take a look at the line history. This total's a 134. It's skyrocketed up from the 130.5 that it opened to. Opened at. It did get up to 134.5. We have a half point of buyback. And then from a point spread scenario here, we have, where the hell? I just blew past it. Here we go. From a point spread scenario, we have, here we go. Troy -11.5. I guess it's not the end of the world. It did get to 12.5. At that point, I thought, okay, Sang's back in. Troy's going to smash. And now it's 11.5, and I suspect Sang not to be in the lineup. Let's get to the cash flow here for this one. Pete, let me grab it. We have 66% of tickets, 81% of the cash on Troy. Circus moved this to an 11 from 12, which is a terrible sign after the line had been available for 12 hours. And to take that sign to an even worse place, I'm looking at Hard Rock with a 10.5, and they opened this up at 11.5, and they moved it 12.5 too. They moved it 2 points since then. There's no way Sang's playing, and I'm very nervous about this spot. Peter, take it away.
Definitely was leaning and liking Lafayette here. First half and full game, and I think I'll give one of these officially. I don't know which one I want to give. I think I'll give first half. Lafayette first half. You bet Troy. So
yeah. It was a mistake. I thought,
who knows? We could both cash, but I'll take Lafayette first half plus 6.5 minus 114. Shop around, see if I can get a little bit better, but at worst, I'll take that. Lafayette first half plus 6.5 minus 114.
You are in business here. Let's roll. We talk Old Dominion Monarchs, Marshall Thundering Herd. When these teams played each other, I had Marshall Thundering Herd minus 2.5. It was just on February 11th. They won the game by 2. They were down all game. Old Dominion was shooting 60 from the field, 60 from 3, and then, of course, that slowed down. During that game, I was messaging back and forth with TJ, and he was hammering Marshall live. I got in a one bet on Marshall live, but he hammered it 3 different times back, just saying that Old Dominion can't possibly keep this up. Yeah, he's on the Raging Cajuns here.
Yeah. I took 6.5, but
So here we go. Old Dominion Monarchs 10-19, 6-10 the Sun Belt. Marshall Thundering Herd 18-11, 10-6 Sun Belt. Shout out to our guy Fat Wally. And look at that Sharpie in the house, of course.
Oh shit! Sharpie,
which means Sharpie back.
Wowie! Hell yeah!
Yeah, man. Sharpie in our new intro as well. It's nice to see him there, man. ODU ranked 246. Marshall ranked 187th. And Fat Wally, thank you so much for gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership, man. We all are so excited and hoping to see you in San Antonio, my man. We are heading to Horse Track on Sunday as well. But let's roll here. ODU had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped an 86-81 loss at Southern Miss on Saturday's 4.5-point dogs. As I said, these teams just met February 11th. ODU was up 47-34 at the break. Now we get them on the road. ODU 3-13 on the road this year. Doesn't tell the story because they're 3-4 on the road in the conference. Marshall's a half game back here of the lead in the Sun Belt. They're coming off ending their 2-game winning streak snapped at 79-75 loss at Coastal Carolina's 2.5-point favorites. They're 11-3 at home this year. They're 6-1 at home in conference. And I want to move on them. But look at this. Wow, thank God I couldn't take this stuff. I can't. There's just been a huge move towards ODU. Wow. This is nuts. So they're down to a 5.5. A 1.5 move towards ODU. Maybe it's not quite a 1.5, but let's call it 1.25 because at 5.5, Marshall's juiced to minus 116. Wow. Huge move. I don't think I could take it. There's too much on the line for me right now to succeed. And I just, these lines moving against me are making me sick to my stomach. Total opened up at 161, now 159. I guess I'm thankful here. J-Dub on Marshall minus 6.5. AM projection, Old Dominion plus 6. Taking a look at the cash flow here for this Marshall spot. 89% of the tickets, 90% of the cash on ODU. They've moved this from 7 to 6.5. That's circa. God. Let's just see what it is over at Action as well so we can see it from all sides here. It's going to take me a second to find this game, so I don't want to waste time. I will find it, though, and we'll talk about it after we hear from Peter Loshak. Shout out to our guy, the Goracle in the house. EuroLeague Wednesday action. Zalgiris, money line plus 107 when he bet it favored. Shout out to the Goracle in the house. Peter Loshak, take it away for us here. Huntington, West Virginia, Marshall hosting ODU.
I definitely liked ODU. I definitely liked them a little bit on the opening line of 7, first half and full game. Not sure which one I like more. Both about equally. Now that it's down to 6, like it a little bit less. I don't think I'll give it as an official play, but definitely ODU is what I was liking.
Well, I'm gonna stay off the game, man. I'm gonna stay off the game. Here's another spot that I wanted. Here is another spot that I wanted. King O wants me to call it the Gun Belt. Let's call it the Gun Belt King. Ooh! Coastal Carolina, Chanticleer, 17-12, 9-7 the Sun Belt. At Georgia State Panthers, 10-19, 7-9 Sun Belt. Convocation Center, Atlanta, Georgia. Coastal Carolina ranked 237th. Georgia State ranked 296th. I wanted Coastal Carolina, Pete. I wanted them. And I still do. Coastal Carolina comes up their 3rd win in 4 games, defeating Marshall 79-75 at home as 2.5-point dogs on Saturday. They lost to Georgia State badly at home, 89-71 back on January 3rd as 6.5-point favorites. It's been a good road team all year. 8-7 on the road overall, 6-3 on the road in conference. Georgia State comes in off their 7th loss in 8 games, falling 80-65 at home to James Madison on Saturday. It's 2.5-point favorites. Now, they're much better at home. They've only played 10 games at home all year. 5-5 at home, 4-3 at home in conference. Let's take a look at this line history here and then hand this over to our guy, Peter Loshak. This one popping off at 7:30 p.m. We have, sorry, let me move over. Here we go. We have a total at 140.5. This one opened up at 138, climbed up to 141 before it dropped a half point. Still a pretty legit move to the over. And then from a point spread perspective, we have Coastal Carolina sitting here at -1. Opened up at a pick'em. It took 18 hours before it moved to 1.5 for Coastal Carolina. Now it's back to a 1. Very little movement here. We get to the cash flow for this one at 7:30. We have 88% of tickets, but just 69% of the cash on Coastal Carolina. Circa hanging at -1 with 80% of tickets, 76% cash on Coastal Carolina. I'll take a look at what the action has for this one, but take it away for us here, Peter Loshak, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State Panthers.
I was liking Coastal myself, but a little bit of a weird, suspicious game and line move and everything. So I'm going to hold off for now. But I definitely like Coastal. That's the way I was leaning. Didn't bet it yet. Probably. I don't know if I will, but those are my thoughts. Those are my leans.
On the spread, you have 53% of the tickets, 63% cash on Georgia State, 57-74 on Coastal Carolina money line.
Yeah. Coastal probably wins by 1. Exactly.
They're playing such good basketball. I feel like it's difficult with Georgia State capping them because they're so much better at home than they are on the road. I will keep an eye on Coastal Carolina here. All right, let's roll on. This one very, very concerning, this next spot on the board. We have Spooner on Bradley. We have Rob Free on Bradley. And I am not on Bradley, which is uncomfortable. Makes me nervous. I'm on the UIC Flames. We're in Chicago, Illinois for this one. Bradley Braves 19-10, 12-6 in conference. Missouri Valley Conference 16-13, 11-7 for UIC. Bradley ranked 128th. UIC ranked 102nd. Bradley comes in off his third win in 4 games, 74-60 at home over Illinois State on Saturday. 3.5-point favorites. Bradley lost at home to UIC on January 24th as 7.5-point favorites. So here we have another, 10.5-point difference from the game 1 line. And that line was a month ago. Bradley's 4-6 on the road this year versus Div 1 opponents, 4-5 on the road in conference. UIC just had their 3-game winning streak snapped at 71-67 home loss on Saturday. At 7.5-point favorites, UIC 6-5 at home this year and 5-4 at home in conference. This one makes me nervous. Yeah, 7.5 here was that first spot. Well, they're a 3.5 at least. They got up to a 4. God, I didn't know it got up to a 4. That would have been wonderful to be sitting here at a 4. Now it's a 3.5. It's juiced towards Bradley. I got in on the 3. From a total standpoint here, we have. Oh, sorry, I just blew past. From a total standpoint, we're at a 142. There's been a 10-cent move to the under. Peter Loshak, take it away here. Bradley Braves, UIC Flames, Credit Union 1 Arena in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, the first line I saw was 2, and I liked Loyola. I liked Illinois, Chicago in that one at at -2. Felt a little bit like obvious / trappy. Bradley had been bad ATS, but definitely better last few games. So they're definitely rounding to form a little bit ATS wise. And Illinois, Chicago, very, very up and down. A little bit hard for me to get a read on. But statistically thought that -2 had some value. So I took it. I don't know if I can give it though. And a small lean to the over at 142. I didn't even see where that one moved.
10-cent move to the under at BOL.
Yeah. See,
Okay. Well, look, I'm on UIC. I will deal with the said consequences here.
I took him. What do you want? I took him.
Yeah, but you just took him first half.
No. Full game. What are you going to do?
All right. Well, I like to hear that. Let's roll on here. Shout out to Turnsey in the house that just bet the Sharks to make the playoffs. They have the easiest strength of schedule remaining. I'm looking forward to an NHL back tomorrow here. So let's roll. Let's roll to our next spot on the board here. I've got there over 70.5, or I can't remember if it's 70.5 or 71.5, but I got there over their point total, which is going to cash. But that's all I have on them. I had the Ducks to make the playoffs, not the Sharks, which turned out to be a mistake. TJ's with us on UIC. I like to hear that. Let's roll. Arizona Wildcats, Baylor Bears. We're at Foster Pavilion in Waco, Texas. And this is a beat-up Arizona team, playing good basketball. They have key members out. Koa Pete and Anthony Del Orso, both banged up. So Pete's missed the last 2 games due to a lower leg muscle strain that he sustained against Texas Tech. He's going to be reevaluated in a week due to injury, so he will not be playing. And then it's Del Orso that's the big piece here because he looked great. He scored 22 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 4 steals, 3 rebounds in that 73-66 win over the Cougars. Left the game late in the second half, hurt his ankle, later returned. So that is the question. Will Pete or Del Orso be in the lineup? Wine Time says he wants a Baylor. Rob Free says Bradley might win outright here. So, and AM says books want Arizona money, and he says the over also looks nice. In his opinion, this is 9 p.m. action. This total sitting at 154.5. It opened up at 153.5. We've had, now it's at 155. That move was 2 minutes ago. Another half-point move 2 minutes ago, 107 p.m. to the over. And on the point spread here, we have this one. Oh, man. We have this one sitting right now at 8. I see an 8.5 in a very sharp book, but I'm looking at an 8 at BOL. They opened this with Arizona -9. After 21 minutes, this moved up to a 10. Midnight back to an 8.5. 7 in the morning, an 8. 8 in the morning, back to an 8.5. Now we're sitting here back at an 8. So we've had a full point move towards the Baylor Bears. When we get to the cash flow for the spot here, we have 69% of the tickets on Arizona, but just 53% of the cash. It appears Baylor sharp action. 75% of tickets on the over, 91% of cash on the over. Arizona comes in off its second. Arizona ranked 3rd, according to Ken Palm, Baylor 48th. Arizona comes in off its second straight win, 73-66 at Houston on Saturday, 6-point dogs. This is their lone meeting with Baylor this year. They're dealing with injuries, so we talked about them. Baylor snapped their 4-game losing streak on Saturday with a 73-68 victory at home over Arizona State as 8.5-point favorites. They're 9-5 at home this year overall, but just 2-5 at home in conference. Peter, your thoughts? Wildcats, Bears, and Waco.
First of all, you know what I will make official? Illinois, Chicago, team total over 72.5 minus 104. We'll make that official. Team total over 72.5 minus 104. This one, Baylor, Arizona. I think I liked Baylor first half, team total over. I like the over as well. What was the first line that I saw? 153.5. Where is that now? I think it went up a little bit. Where is it now? Yeah, 154.5. Lean Baylor, first half, team total over and over. I don't know if I want to make any of those official here, but that's what I'm thinking. Understandable why, those might be bad bets, but small edge, I think.
I feel like Baylor can stay in this game. It appears that it's sharp action. 8.5. It's a nice amount here for them at home. And Arizona with their injuries, are they really still able to blow teams out? Now they just, looked very, very good in that win at Houston on Saturday. Can they follow it up here against Baylor? Kripke says Arizona or nothing. Baylor might get dog walked. I'm interested in Baylor, but you are not interested in them full game.
I'm going to take the team total over. 72.5, I think. I'll shop around a little bit to see what odds I can get. Full game and first half. I think I like first half a little bit more, but it's treacherous. It's understandable. It's scary, but that is what I think. Baylor 72.5 minus 118. I'll take that officially.
All right, we have Pete moving on Baylor team total over. We have the Gorkle, who is tied Virginia money line with Tennessee money line here. And I was interested in Missouri, but not enough to pull the trigger. 2-0 Yankees. Shout out to our guy Nasty Nate. Give out the Yankees Red Sox money line parlay plus 155 in motion in business. 9 p.m. Eastern, the 22 ranked Tennessee Volunteers 20-7, 10-4 in the SEC. At the Missouri Tigers 18-9, 8-6 in the SEC. And TJ Arizona Texas over 10.5. MLB action for him. This one's at Mizzou Arena in Columbia. Tennessee ranked 14th according to Ken Palm. Mizzou 52nd. Tennessee comes in off their 4th straight win, 69-65 at Vanderbilt on Sunday is 2.5-point favorites. This is their lone meeting with Missouri this year. They're 4-4 on the road. Mizzou comes in off their 2nd loss in 3 games, 94-86 at Arkansas on Saturday's 9.5-point dogs. They're 14-2 at home this year overall, but 5-2 at home in conference. So let's take a look at the line history here for Missouri, Tennessee. We have Missouri down to a 3. Wow. So this opened up at 4.5, 3:30 p.m., moved to a 4 at 3:51 p.m. That's all yesterday, moved to a 3 at 4 p.m., got back up to 3.5. Now we're back at a 3. The 3's juice to Mizzou. That's a pretty legit move to Mizzou. When we get to the total, here we have a 144. It's minus 115 to the over. This opened up at 144.5. Got up to 145.5 before it dropped quickly. It was 142.5 at 9:20 this morning. We're back at 144. And when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have 77% of the tickets on Tennessee, but just 57% of the cash. A lot of 3s out there. BetMGM's moved this to 2.5, so is Hard Rock. I mean, we just cashed on Missouri in a similar situation, man. Very, very similar here. 2 games back when they won in this kind of a line move. I mean, they covered against Arkansas 9.5-point dogs. This team's covering. Coin says Mizzou is a huge front court and depth there too. Peter Loshak, take it away. Volunteers, Tigers in Columbia, Missouri.
I was liking Missouri a little bit here and the over a little bit here, although it's moved up. And the Missouri team total over, I did bet 70.5. I got, it is pretty scary. Tennessee off that big win against Vanderbilt. And I hate these kinds of games where I'm on a side with small lines here, big teams, and I see Gorky on the other side. In college football, he's always friggin' right. You know what I mean?
Here, though, Mizzou did play after that big win, which they almost lost at the buzzer. So they're coming off the 94-86 loss at Arkansas on Saturday.
Right, but did I say Tennessee? Right, they're coming off of the.
Tennessee. You're talking about my bad. I thought you were talking about the Mizzou win the game before.
Yeah, but I fucking hate. This is like when Gorky is like, not I'm going to say always right, but quite often right in these kinds of situations, and I don't like seeing him like in Tennessee like this. But I like Missouri first half more and the team total more, and I like the over. I didn't quite understand why the total was quite as low as it was. So yeah, I like Missouri first half over, then Missouri team total over.
Well, speaking of said over, Peter, we have our guy Justin McKelvey on the over. Not only is he on the over, but it is Stacks play today number 2 over 144.5 Tennessee, Missouri.
Stacks.
I was very interested in Mizzou, and I still am. Acacia on Mizzou money line. Peter, is anything official for you here?
I'm going to make the Missouri team total over an official play, and I'm trying to decide if I want to make the Missouri first half an official play. It's tough.
All right, let's hear. We'll hear what Pete makes official, but let's roll on. Set up the next spot on the board. Wine time on Mizzou plus 3.5 here. He cashed on Mizzou money line in that 81-80 victory on, I want to say, must have been. Oh, actually, he was with us all week. Must have been Friday, Wednesday or Friday of last week. All right, let's roll. Fresno State Bulldogs 12-15, 6-10 in the Mountain West. And the Colorado State Rams 17-10, 8-8 in the Mountain West. We're at Moby Arena, Fort Collins. Look, I want Colorado State here. I want them. I came very, very close to betting them a couple times, but did not pull the trigger. Still very interested in them. Colorado State ranked 88th, according to Ken Palm. Fresno State ranked 124th. Fresno State comes in off their second straight loss and fourth in 5 games, 87-8 at home to the Lobos on Saturdays, 9.5-point dogs. Fresno State defeated the Rams at home back on January 13th. Defeated them comfortably as 3.5-point dogs. They are 2-8 on the road overall this year, 2-6 on the road in conference. Colorado State's just playing their best basketball of the year right now. This is a team moving in the right direction. Colorado State comes in off their 5th straight win, 83-74 at home over the Aztecs on Saturdays, 3.5-point dogs. They're 10-4 at home this year, 5-3 at home in conference. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have a total at 147. This one opened up at 146 now. Oh, it just moved up to 148 a minute ago. 1 minute ago. Not only did it move up a point to 148, but it moved over 148 with juice. So it moved to the over. And then from a point spread perspective here, that's what I was looking at. Colorado State minus 8.5. It's a lot of points, and it's just been sitting there. Now, it did move to 9 after it was available for 21 minutes, came back. It didn't come back until 17 hours later at 8.5. Then 9:41 a.m., it moves back to 9 again. And then 10 minutes later, it's back at 8.5. I mean, they're just sitting here, letting it, sitting here at 8.5. And then when we get to the cash flow here, I think this will, no information from the odds logic board. So then we go over to action, which is very questionable, as I often say. But here we have, according to them, 2% of the tickets and 71% of the cash on Colorado State. 2% of the tickets, 71% of cash. 52 and 53 on the over. AM saying the under looks nice. Peter Loshak, I want Colorado State, but is this 8.5 too many points or right around where it's going to land probably and too risky? Is it better to wait for a live spot? Take it away. Colorado State Rams playing good basketball. Should I back them here?
Yeah, but so is Fresno. They've continued to be excellent ATS. I know people are out for Fresno, right?
Fresno State's dealing with 2 injuries, I believe. I had it here earlier. Let me pull it up again. Sorry.
I'm gonna pass on this one. I was vaguely liking the over, but going to pass on that as well.
Let me get back to this injury report here. Okay. So DJ Stickman out here. He missed the last game. Heidbretter's back, which is key. And that was the difference. Heidbretter came back and he went for 22 points. He's a beast. I mean, Stickman's just a backcourt. Yeah, I guess it's Heidbretter who you were talking about. Because
I'm gonna pass on this. It's an interesting game though.
Heidbretter didn't play in the loss to Wyoming. I think it is a key point with him back. Maybe it's a stay off spot. Let's roll on. Let's talk about more Mountain West action. Mountain West. You know who does it best in the Mountain West? Do you remember? Who does it best?
I know who does it worst or second worst. That's yours truly. Who best is DJ Big Boss, of course, DJ Big Boss.
DJ Big Boss does it best. Wyoming Cowboys 15-12, 6-10 the Mountain West. Boise State Broncos 16-11, 8-8 in the Mountain West. We're at Extra Mile Arena in Boise. Wyoming ranked 95th according to Ken Palm. Boise ranked 60th. It's wild watching the market analyze Boise State. Boise State sitting here, 8-8 in the Mountain West. They went to the pit. They went against the Lobos. The line was telling us to bet them, and I screwed it up. There was like a point or point and a half move towards the Lobos. It was the opening line that was insane. Spooner was on Boise State. Boise State took care of business. Boise State also, though, had a 2-game losing streak right after those impressive victories where, very questionable losses. They snapped that 2-game losing streak with an 84-69 win at home over San Jose State, but they were 18.5-point favorites there. They're 10-3 at home overall this year, 5-3 in conference. Wyoming comes in off their second straight win, a very impressive 70-65 victory at Grand Canyon, 7.5-point dogs. And they lost to Boise State badly, 81-65 back on January 20th as 1.5-point dogs. They were down 38-18 at the half. They're bad on the road, 2-8 on the road, 2-6 on the road in conference. Acacia liking Boise. Initially, I was going to be on Boise too, but here we're sitting at that same number that we dealt with Colorado State. Boise State opening up -8. Now they're -8.5. And then from a total perspective here, we have this one sitting this one's sitting at 145.5. This is dropped from 148, huge drop. This dropped from 147.5 down to 145.5 at 12:47 p.m. today. A big drop to the under. Peter, let's take a look at the cash flow as well here. According to this, we have 58% of tickets and 94% of the cash. 94% of the cash on Wyoming. At Circa, opened up at 7.5, went up to 8.5. Now it's back at 8. They haven't reported their numbers yet. Peter Loshak, take it away here. More Mountain West action.
Well, again, this was you pick a lot of games, and I'm just like, I want no part of it. But AM saying Boise State smash and grab. I mean, Wyoming's a scrappy, nice little team that gets some covers. So I definitely trust AM. He's not posting smash and grab comments for nothing, right?
He's not, no.
All right, and by the way, Jim, I will add on here just for line purposes. I'm adding on where is it? Missouri team total over 70.5 -115, and I will take Missouri first half +1.5 -110.
Over 70.5 -113, and what was the first half?
115 and first half +1.5 -110.
All right. You are in business. The Eldorado custodian says Boise State should handle business here, but he not sure if he's going to move on it. Well. I wanted to fade Wyoming off of that victory at Grand Canyon. Maybe this is the spot to do it in. I'm going to need more time. Let's talk about our final college basketball game on the board, but then we're going to go over our plays of the day in college basketball. So we will discuss those games. We'll do it off the cuff here. So we'll just, they won't have the graphics underneath, but we'll discuss the spots here that our specialty plays of the day are on. Well, this is the spot where I'm again, and you talked about it off the top, where we are both very uncomfortably on the other side of Morgan Spooner.
Hey,
9
Jim,
p.m. East. Yeah.
One quick thing. I'm going to live bet Atletico Madrid -0.5, -135, Champions League.
Atletico Madrid. Can you state that one more time?
Atletico Madrid -0.5, win in regulation -135.
Atletico Madrid win in regulation. We close with SEC action. Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma, home of the Sooners. Tigers 15-12, 6-8 in conference. Sooners 13-14, 3-11 in conference. Auburn ranked 34th. Oklahoma ranked 58th here. Auburn snapped their 5-game winning streak with a 5-game losing streak. That should be written there. Snapped their 5-game losing streak with a 75-74 victory at home over Kentucky on Saturday's 3.5-point favorites. This is their lone meeting with Oklahoma this year. They haven't been very good on the road. 2-6 on the road this year. 2-5 on the road in conference. Oklahoma comes in off their second straight loss, 75-71 at home Saturday versus Texas A&M as 1.5-point dogs. Interesting that they're 1.5-point dogs against A&M, and then that basically the same number against Auburn. Oklahoma's 9-5 at home this year, but they're just 2-5 at home in conference play. You're betting them to win this game outright here at this number. Let's take a look at the line history for this spot here, and nervous about it. Huge move to the under. This one opened at 161.5. Now we're at 156. A 5.5-point move here. And then on the spread for our final college basketball spot on the board, before we talk about our specialty plays of the day, we have Oklahoma plus 2.5 minus 115. There are still some twos on the board. This plus 2.5 is minus 115. I have a plus 2, which makes me uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. AM is on Utah plus 13. I thought about moving on them too. That was going to be here, but we have a full NBA card that we have to attack, and I just don't have time for all of it. But I have that copied and pasted here. Thank you for sharing that with us, AM. For our final spot on the board, 9 p.m., we have 58% of tickets, 55% of cash on Oklahoma. And not at Circa, though. Circa's got 71 and 73 on Auburn, and they've moved it a point towards Auburn. I am nervous about this spot here. I doubt action will give me any sense of calm. But let's see what they have here. The action is telling us that they have 36% of tickets, 45% of cash on Oklahoma. Kripke on Auburn here. Peter, take it away for us, my man. Your thoughts on Auburn, Oklahoma.
Well, I did bet Oklahoma first half. Might have been a mistake. Don't like seeing Spooner on Auburn, although that's understandable, justifiable, and he's also full game. But and a small lean to the over, even though it was a high total. I'll make Oklahoma first half an official play, even though it's treacherous from the get go, and then seeing Spooner full game on the other side. That's not nice to see, but we'll take it. Take Oklahoma first half, official play.
Oklahoma first half. Grab the line for us.
Yeah.
When you have it. Let's now talk about our specialty plays of the day here, because we have action. We have Stacks play today number 2 was Tennessee, Missouri over 144.5. Stacks play today number 1, Peter, is Arizona State plus 6.5 at minus 110. Arizona State plus 6.5 minus 110.
I hit that first half. I did.
We have the corner of Loshak and Stacks, although Loshak on the first half, Stacks on the full game. Stacks play day number 1, Arizona State plus 6.5.
Stacks.
Slow Jams Arsenal also on Marquette plus 3.5. J-Dub on Dayton plus 4.5. West Virginia plus 1.5. And Michigan minus the 21.5. Then we have our guy Ronnie Crawford on LaSalle plus 7. And Matty Ice, Taint play of the day. Buffalo plus 16.5. They're a great road team, playing well right now. This line is moving against them. But he picked the right time. 16.5 is fine. But it wasn't 15.5 when I looked at it earlier. I couldn't believe the line was so big. It didn't. I thought it was too big, and that made me uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable for our guy, Matty Ice. Taint play of the day. Buffalo plus 16.5. King Al, at the end of the show, Peter and I will drop our LoBag Parlay. It cashed last week at plus 228. We're tracking it. We're tracking different things here. We have Peter's NBA and NCAA record from the Peter Loshak show, and mine from the from Betting with the Bag, of course. And then we're also tracking exactly what our record is on Tuesdays alone on the LoBag show. I didn't get to use the NHL Tuesday because the Olympic Tuesday action that was in play while we were watching. That doesn't count. It only counted the late game, that 3:10 game, unfortunately. So my record was just 7-4, even though Tuesday was a monstrous day for us. The next spot we want to talk about before we get into the NBA, Peter, which you will be leading off the games for, is our guy Billy Friedrich. Pig Milk Play of Days, New Mexico double result at plus 180. He says New Mexico plays great 3-point D and did this in their first meeting. He says it happens again here. Well, Peter Loshak, that is college basketball here. Could you please review your college basketball action for Tuesday, February 24th? And in the back of your head, think about the LoBag Parlay. Take it away.
Sure. But can I also add on USC first half? Let me add that one on, baby.
Most definitely. USC first half.
First half will be, let's see, 4.5 minus 116. I'll shop around to see what I can find a little bit better if I can. But at the worst, I'll take that. USC first half plus 4.5 minus 116. All right, so far right now, these are my official plays. Washington team total under 72.5 minus 112. St. Louis first half money line minus 145. Virginia and Morehead State money line parlay minus 144. Louisiana Lafayette first half plus 6.5 minus 114. Illinois Chicago team total over 72.5 minus 104. Baylor team total over 72.5 minus 118. Missouri team total over 70.5 minus 115. Missouri first half plus 1.5 minus 110. Oklahoma first half plus 1 minus 105. Don't like that it's moving in the opposite direction. Don't like that Spoons Bets likes Auburn, but it's my play. And USC first half plus 4.5 minus 116, unless I shop around and can get a little better. And just things that I was thinking about that I didn't add, but things I was thinking about. Definitely Arizona State first half. Definitely the over in the Tennessee-Missouri game. Definitely the let me see if there's anything else that I was really thinking about. Notre Dame full game a little bit. Got a lean in West Virginia over Oklahoma State. And so I'm just glancing things I was thinking about. Just let me remind myself here. And I was definitely thinking Nevada might be the play against New Mexico, but I didn't bet it. I'm definitely off that right now for sure. And leaning over in the Arizona Baylor game as well. And Miami, Florida. Did I not say that? Oh my God. Wait, Miami, Florida, first half. Jimmy the Bag, you there?
Yeah.
Oh, that was one of my. Did I not give that officially? I
mean, we didn't break down that game.
Oh yeah, no, Miami, Florida, first half, no doubt about it. I'll shop around and get a line. So that's another one. Add that one officially, and also leaning Southern Miss first half as well. Like that one a little bit, and I guess that's it. But definitely adding on Miami, Florida first half.
For me, I'm on UIC -3, Oklahoma +2, LaSalle first half +3.5, Troy -12. I think I'm in trouble there. Then the late additions were Texas Tech -6.5 and Virginia -6.5. The Virginia 6.5 was very low vig. The other was a regular -110. King Al talking about the total in the Notre Dame Duke game. I mean, we'd have to go back to the analysis of the game. Neither of us moved on the total in that one here. I had interest in Notre Dame first half, but there was a heavy move against that. For additions here, I guess I've got a lot of cold feet. I'm not going to, chase the record. There was a reason why I was uncomfortable with it. The Virginia, as using it as a money line parlay is somewhat appealing here, but I guess the Georgetown I got to leave alone with Justin and Spooner on Marquette. So the only spots where I'm still interested in moving on, I guess, Coastal Carolina, I have some interest in Baylor. I have interest in Missouri, and I've some interest in Boise State. And that's about it. So let's roll into the NBA, Peter, my friend. I've been trying to not hammer too much since the All-Star break, but I feel like it's about time where we open it up. I feel like I was seeing things clearly until that last week before the All-Star break, and it kind of shook me. It's so incredible, Peter, that you can have this excellent season where I was messing around with 60% for so long. You have one bad week, like a real downswing week, and all of a sudden you wipe out 3 months of really good work, and it shakes you.
Yeah.
I'm excited to rock here. So let's go. Peter will be leading off these games again. I'm not quite ready to talk about a post All-Star break pace. I'm getting closer. I feel like there's almost enough sample size, but I've been hesitant at first. So we're not going to talk about pace or shooting percentages here today, but they're coming back soon. So, Peter, let's rock.
Okay, let's go. I'm just looking at lots of things here. First game on the card, Philly, Indiana. Philly, of course, off of a huge road win as a 9.5-point dog at Minnesota, and Indiana 3 straight up and ATS losses since the break. Still no Embiid for Philly. Pascal returning for Indy. They returned for Indy last game, but they still lost. I know Indy sucks, but I was thinking at the very least Indiana team total over. But the first total I saw was 235. Then I saw that it dropped down to like 233. I don't know where it is now. I'm probably going to pass on this one. But I was definitely thinking Indiana team total over maybe. That's what I was thinking.
Right now, Embiid is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
So he's missed 5 straight games, of course, but there was, it's an upgrade from being out. Man Bear Pig on Pacers money line. The Eldorado custodian said this spread seems high. This is a game where there's quite a bit of question marks around it. We know Embiid is questionable, but the question marks are on the Pacers side of things. Siakam doubtful.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
okay.
Unlikely to go now due to the left wrist sprain. So he returned from the hamstring injury on Sunday.
Yeah, hamstrings can linger.
Went for 30. No, then he picked up the wrist injury.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, he did. He's the hamstring was, okay, and then now he's got the wrist injury. So then you have Nembhard and so Potter and Jones are probable, of course. Jones starting, Cam starting right now. With Naismith out, of course, Top and Zubac out. So you have Nembhard and McConnell questionable.
Jim, sorry, we're also taking Mamelodi Sundowns -1.5, -133 in South African soccer.
South African soccer here, a move in South African soccer. Nembhard lower back injury management, which means Shepard and Quentin Jackson will get all the run. These are just, okay, so let's say you have Nembhard out at the 1. Well, McConnell's questionable too with the hamstring injury. He's missed 3 of the past 4. These are just, very, very crucial pieces of the puzzle that we need information on. As Peter said, the Sixers coming off a smash and grab at Minnesota. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights, all on the road with constant travel. And you have the Pacers, sitting here at home in what one would think would be a good spot. They lose to Dallas 134-130, but again, that had Siakam in it. It's a very trashy situation here for anybody who is interested in backing the Pacers with no knowledge on whether their starting point guard or backup point guard are going to be playing here. And then do we think that Embiid will be in the lineup? And, I guess the line is saying Embiid will be in the lineup. This has gone from 8.5 to 10.5. You want Philadelphia as double-digit favorites on the road? King Al, doubtful means very unlikely, and questionable means it's a toss-up. It's a coin flip. So you have to wait for more information. So this game just doesn't appeal to me until we get more information. Of course, you have to think that with McConnell out, Nembhard out, that it should be a Sixers smash and grab, but it's certainly not appealing after that huge win in Minnesota. But maybe it's the right thing to do. Maybe the Pacers are saying, look, we're not trying. Fine us. So maybe it is 76ers at this outrageous number. I don't know if I can pull the trigger, Pete. Let's roll on to Wizards Hawks.
Wizards Hawks. Hawks a huge favorite here, but Washington now 2 nice wins over the Pacers, who stuck, but they're still an NBA team, and then a blowout loss to Charlotte, which is can be forgivable. Now they're on the road. Atlanta 2 nice wins, 1 bad loss since the break, and all kinds of shakeups here for both of these teams. Wizards playing young guys while they wait for Trae Young and AD to come back, and that's when I like to bet them. And then when Young and AD come back and they start getting respect from the market, that's when I'd look to fade them. I know they're playing again next game, but I didn't see where the lines moved. But at 13, got to be thinking Washington, maybe slight lean to the under, slight lean to Atlanta, team total under. Got to be liking Washington here, first half full game.
It is a very interesting angle to be backing Washington here in this spot, when I might want to join you on, at least for the Wizards. We know the situation. Fortunately, Sarr is out, but Young, Russell, Davis going to be all year, and Sarr out as well. Kuminga could be making his debut tonight. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see here. The Hawks coming off, Hawks sitting here comfortably at home. And now the Wizards head out onto the road after that loss to Charlotte. Charlotte playing good ball. But this is an alarming amount of points. I mean, I think the simple prediction here is that, Atlanta will overlook Washington. And so for me, Washington's been very good to me in a first quarter scenario. I don't know if I'd want them more than first quarter here. So I guess let me just take a look at the cash flow here. We didn't talk about that Sixers cash flow. Let me pull that up. But I would like to know, if the Hawks are getting hammered at the books, because if they are, it makes that Wizards first quarter more appealing. And they're not. Wizards are a public dog, road dog. Worst 73% of tickets, 89% of cash. Nobody seems to care. And then in the Philadelphia game, you have 83% of tickets, 94% of cash on Philly. And the books do care. I mean, there's a huge difference there. I have interest in Washington first quarter, but that's as far as I would run with it. What was your interest in Washington, Pete? First half and full game?
Yeah, just thinking that that they'll come to play at least enough to hang within single digits. I didn't bet it for sure. I'm focusing on college basketball and soccer right now, but that was definitely my thought.
God, the Wizards being public is just disgusting.
Yep.
And let's just see if action's telling the same story, and we can move on to our next spot on the board here. So, we're being told. Oh, shit, come on, here we go. Oh, it's taking a second. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's just see if this is a public spot. Okay, it's gonna take me a second. Here we go. So we have, here too. 71% of tickets, 64% cash on the Wizards. Look, I can't be on like a public dog. Books don't care. I'm just gonna see if that changes. It could easily change if we give it a few hours. So I'll just note that it's a public dog right now. So that will take me completely off of it. But if it's not, if that changes, now Atlanta money comes in. Pete, let's roll on to the next spot on the board. Mavericks Nets.
Mavs finally got a straight up win, also against the Pacers. The Pacers stuck, but they're an NBA team. They'd lost 10 in a row before that. Nets back home, lost all 3 road games straight up in ATS. Kind of close, but still. Of course, no flag for Dallas. What are the Nets doing behind the scenes? I'm not exactly sure. Got to be leaning Dallas, right? First half, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's so apparent, at least it was on that road trip, that the Nets didn't care. The last time they were at home, they did, though. They beat the Bulls by 8. They lost in a tight game against the Pacers. It was seemingly a spot where they cared. And then you have Dallas on this road trip here. So the road trip started at Minnesota. They lose by 11. Follow that up by playing the Pacers. And then they come home after this. They come home after Brooklyn. They probably want to go out in New York tonight. I don't know if you're going to get an attentive, accountable Dallas Mavericks squad here. Martin is probable. Gafford is questionable. Again, like with the rotation for Brooklyn, I don't know what you're going to get, and you're asking very uncomfortably for them to try. We're sitting here at a 2 on Brooklyn, +2 on Brooklyn, and then when we get to the cash flow here, 63% of tickets, 52% of the cash on Dallas. It's 2s right across the board. It's moved from 1.5 to 2. So it has moved at that point towards Dallas at circa, but they have 90% of tickets, 93% of cash on Dallas. Shout out to our guy Nut Flush Allen in the house. I guess I have some interest in Brooklyn. I kind of want to see more how my card gets together. I think that if you were on Brooklyn, it's probably more appealing to be on them early. Oh, God, it's just very difficult. I mean, this line is probably set up to attract Mavericks cash, you would think, because we just watched Brooklyn get annihilated over and over and over again before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. But those games were on the road again, so. A man bear pig liking the Wizards here. Acacia looking at Brooklyn says Dallas should never be a favorite away, and she says she stays in Dallas. I guess I have some interest in Brooklyn. It makes me sick to say that. So, let's roll on. Let's roll on to Thunder Raptors.
Yeah, I know that Toronto was a small, tiny dog when it opened, and then I saw that I think they moved to a favorite. OKC, of course, been rolling, but they got a bunch of injuries, and the Raps off of 2 impressive road wins and covers. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't check who's going to be out for OKC for this game. I know in theory OKC might have some revenge for if they think that way. Toronto won the last game, but I'm going to pass on this one, but was definitely thinking about Toronto, and now the line has moved that way.
So right now, of course, we know that Jalen and Shea are out. The question is Holmgren and Caruso, and Chet right now dealing with back spasms. It's also the front end of a back-to-back. I mean, I would expect it to be a maintenance day for Caruso here. Left ankle sprain. He missed Sunday's game. So I'm not sure if those 2 guys will be in the lineup. Pirtle's out. So no Pirtle for the Raptors. So we get the Murray Boyles show here. So it's the first half of a back-to-back for both squads. Slow Jam's talking about OKC with the Pistons on deck. So he is interested. He is interested in the Raptors, who've looked great. Looked great since the break. But again, now no Pirtle. Pirtle's a big part of them looking great. Nice to have Murray Boyles come in as a energy switch instead of a focus. Oklahoma City, I mean, we talk about how the Thunder have Detroit on deck, but Slow Jams, we have Wemby. Wemby's coming to town tomorrow. So it's a huge, huge deal here for no, maybe take that back. Huge deal. It's just, an exciting player is coming to town. Toronto opening up +1.5. Now it's a 2. That's telling you Chet's not playing tonight, and people know that. Then from a total perspective here, we have a 216.5, opened up at 217.5, just dropping. And then cash flow, we have 66% of tickets and 88% of the cash on the Toronto Raptors. I'm looking at 1.5s at all the legal books, but it opened up at +1.5. I think that Toronto is probably the spot here. I agree. With both teams on the first half of back-to-back, the rotation is just a flux. So, but yeah, I have interest in the Raptors. I think the market is telling us such here. A 20-7 team on the road going from favorite to dog. Shout out to our guy JPZ in the house, man. What a job!
Shout out JPZ.
What a job he did on the intro. JPZ going to be rocking with us at Publipalooza as well. Pete, which is going to be money. So I'm interested in the Raptors. I think it makes sense that they're going to care enormously about playing the defending NBA champions, and the Thunder aren't going to care, especially with Shea not even being out on the floor. So yeah, I think this flip makes sense. I think the Raptors should be backed here. Let's roll on to Knicks, Cavs, and for Knicks, Cavs, we were given a best bet here from our guy, Dutch Boy Fresh. It is the Cavaliers -4. Peter, set us up.
At 3.5, I thought it was an obvious, bounce back spot for the Cavs. Lines moved that way. So, I was liking the Cavs, but then early in the show, someone said that they like the Knicks because someone called them soft, and they're going to come here and prove for at least one game that they're not. Maybe so. I think that last, the loss at OKC was a bad spot for the Cavs, and they should be able to bounce back here. But if there's accusations of being soft flying around, maybe that changes things.
It's also the first half of a back-to-back for Cleveland. Is Slow Jams, our guy Slow Jams.
Yeah, shout out Slow Jams. No, that matters.
Yeah, no doubt. The Knicks are playing their third game in 4 nights with constant travel. It's a terrible spot for them. But, Cleveland heads to Milwaukee, which is not a tough trip here. We have a total at 232.5. This one opened up at 229.5. Got 233 before it dropped back to 232.5. Then from a point spread standpoint here, we have Cleveland sitting here at -4. Opened up at 3.5. Got up to 4.5 at 1:30 in the morning. But we're sitting here at 4. And then from a let's take a good. Oh, of course, we got to see who the hell is going to be in the lineup here for this one. So. Let's get into the Knicks Cavs. There are some questionables here, but I agree that that this should be a Cavs bounce back, and that the idea that they're in the first half of back-to-back is easier to handle than a third game in 4 nights with constant travel. We have Strus out and McBride out, Deuce out, so it's going to be a hell of a basketball game. A hell of a basketball game. Nutflush says with this trade Cavs did, still looks like uncertainty of whose role is whose Merle props have been cashing. Justin McKelvey has the over 230.5 in his pocket here. We got coins action. I love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. Going Barlow over 5.5 boards. Jake Johnson over 11.5 boards for the Hawks, and then Miles with over 5.5 boards for the Bucks, who also, of course, on the first half back-to-back. We'll get there in a second, but I just feel like this game goes right down to the wire. But this has got to be a tough spot for the Knicks' third game in 4 nights. I could understand why he expects a bounce back from the Cavaliers. I don't know. Let's take a look at the cash flow, and then we'll just move past it here. I feel like this is going to be right around the number. 70% of the tickets, 92% of the cash on the Cavs. We're sitting here at 4. Yeah, I think it being that public. Now it's moved from 3.5 to 4. So at least Circa caring about this movement. They have reported 60% of tickets, 88% cash on the Cavs, moved a half point towards the Cavs. I think this is right around the number. I know Dutch is on it, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. At this point, I could feel the Cavs or pass. I don't know if I can get to the Cavs, but I'm certainly interested in them. Peter, let's roll on to Hornets Bulls at the United Center in Chicago.
Here we go again. The Bulls awful. Hornets very impressive, coming off of course, a huge win. Charlotte, for those who maybe aren't paying close attention, 8-1 ATS over their last 9. And, the Bulls did get a cover in their last game, but before that, 1-11 ATS over their last 12 before their last game where they got a close cover. So this is just Charlotte or nothing. Charlotte or nothing, right? They say there are no locks in sports betting. Well, what about Charlotte money line right here?
Charlotte playing good ball. Very good ball. I had them at home versus the Cavs, plus 5.5. They lose by 5. Thankful. Then they smash and grab the Wizards in Washington. I mean, clearly you have one basketball team trying and the other team not trying. This is also the Bulls' third game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights. Now, they're all at home, which makes it easier, but they're losing all of them. This is just a team that's I mean, they've played their cards. Simon's out, Ivy out, Smith out. So it's Giddey, Okoro, Buzelis, Yabusele, and Nick Richards at the 5. And then you have the boys back in action. Everybody ready to go. Bridges and Diabate back off the suspension. I mean, at this point, why doesn't Charlotte just annihilate the Bulls? Just pick their number. You want to see that the books care about what's going on here, and they opened it up at 7.5. They didn't move it to 8 for 12 hours. Oh no, sorry. I was thinking that was 12 hours. Excuse me. Sorry, that was 20 minutes. Jesus, that's important. I thought that was AM to PM. Sorry, they didn't put this line out to 7:06 PM last night. 7.5 up to 8.5 in 20 minutes, and then it's not gone past that 8.5. But I think it's probably a jarring number here for people to see. Malek on Hornets, first half team total over. Keisha on the Hornets. I mean, I agree. I mean, why wouldn't the Hornets just destroy this team that isn't trying? 60% of the tickets, but 89% of the cash. This opened up at 7, got up to 9. It's back at 8.5. I see the Hornets trying, and the Bulls not trying. Bulls' third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights. Now, I'll be it without travel, but I don't see why the Hornets aren't backed. I mean, when we saw that rocket spot with the Hornets, it felt too easy. The Rockets felt too easy. Rockets win by 4. That had moved to 4.5. Then, against the Cavs, it was not fading the Cavs. It was, we got to just ride this Hornets team. And here is the probable smash and grab against the Bulls. Maybe the first half is more appealing, but I just don't see why the Hornets just don't keep winning. And obviously, someone looks at an 8.5 and gets uncomfortable, and that's completely valid. Don't forget, Hornets are better on the road than they are at home. Acacia looking at Hornets money line. Hornets, Pelicans, Raptors 3-team money line parlay. I don't see why we wouldn't back the Hornets any number under 10 against teams that aren't trying. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah. I'm not following NBA close enough at the moment to have an in-depth analysis of that question, but yeah, definitely. Why not?
I mean, you can't. I wouldn't take the Hornets too early. The Hornets too early because the Bulls are lacking depth right now with their injuries. So you want to give them, all 48. Yeah. Now, plus, as much as I like the Hornets, the road spot 8.5 makes me nervous. I think I may do the same and grab a live number with the Hornets. That's totally valid. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, are the Bulls trying? Are the Bulls trying? So, on Sunday, the Knicks come to town. There's 20,000 people there. They try. Now the Hornets come to town on a Tuesday night. I mean, how many people are going to be there? I think it's comparative to what happened when the Raptors came to town. I mean, they didn't care about when the Raptors came to town. There was more people at the Raptors game than there was at the Knicks game. The Knicks game didn't sell out. It's a lot of points. It's an uncomfortable amount of points. Malek looking at that first half team total over. It's an uncomfortable amount of points, but I think that they should be bet. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. Chicago Joe saying it's a shitty, gloomy day in Gotham City. I'm interested in calling Chicago Gotham, not NYC. But I'm interested in the Hornets. Let's roll on, Pete.
Next one, Miami, Milwaukee. Miami now really rolling, right? They've covered 5 of 6, impressive, and by big margins. Milwaukee had been rolling, but blasted by Raps in their last game, 30-point home loss. Both these teams are playing for playoff positioning, both playing well, both kind of undervalued right now, going back a bunch of games. The question is, does Milwaukee have the personnel to bounce back here against a streaking and also undervalued team? The Miami team total over seems a little obvious. Maybe Milwaukee first half. Miami's definitely scary to fade right now, though. They're rolling.
Yeah. I mean, we rocked them on, I believe it was Friday at Atlanta. -3 for 3 or 3.5, but I mean they won that one by 31, and then they came home, beat up on Memphis. So now they had a couple days off. That was a tricky stretch for them, back to back at Atlanta, then home versus Memphis. Milwaukee's on the first of a back to back, so they host Cleveland tomorrow night. So this isn't. I mean, all these games are at home, which makes things easier. But this, as you said, this is a Heat team rolling. We know the situation. Antetokounmpo and Prince out. Mitchell, Devin Mitchell probable. So this is Jovic is out, but this is a pretty healthy Heat lineup. And you have to think, why would the Heat not just smash away against the Bucks team? That's, I mean, what did they do? They looked pretty good before the break because they beat Orlando after Orlando smashed them in the same building 2 games in 3 nights. Then they beat OKC. We were on the Bucks in that one. The market was telling us that the Thunder weren't going to try. I didn't know they were not going to try to the extent of losing outright by 17. Then they beat the Pelicans. That got me. That was a bad bet by me on the Pelicans. And then they get smashed at home by the Raptors. And, a lot of times when a team is, playing out the string, basically, it's at home where it sucks the most. I mean, it wasn't close to sold out at Pfizer for the Raptors, and I imagine it won't be here. So, I don't see why the Heat wouldn't be backed at this number. Goes from 5.5 to 6.5. So the first move was towards the Heat. Then there was buyback. So this 10 minutes, it moves from 5.5 to 6. Then in the next 4 hours, it's down to a flat 5. Now we're back at 6.5. I mean, the problem here, Peter, is that thank God it's not 30 points, because I have a rule that if a team loses by 30 plus, I have to bet them the next game, and the ROI is insane. And I can't pick and choose. I have to bet them every single time. So thank God it's 28, and I'm not forced here. Do the Bucks bounce back and fire back against a healthy Heat team? They haven't been healthy all year. Now, I don't know why the Heat wouldn't just destroy them. 66% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the Heat. We're at a 6.5. It opened up at 5.5. The circus taking money on the Heat, and they moved the line. They moved it in half-point increments. They moved it to 6 at 8 in the morning. Then 20 minutes after that, they moved it to 6.5. They're comfortable at the 6.5 price. I do think there's some legitimacy to these teams when they come back home. That's when they start hearing boos from their home crowd. That's when they don't want to be there. They get to go out, play on the road, and get away from all the critique. Kelly McKinnon says Heat smacking by 15 or more. I know the Hornets and Heat are very public, and I'll have to make sure, if you're going to be on a public spot, you need to know that you have the conviction to back it up. But at this point, I don't see why the Heat don't double-digit win again, especially with the Bucks on the first half of back-to-back, and they have to prepare for Cleveland coming to town tomorrow.
Especially with the line moving in their favor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just everything. Now, this number is a bad number for me in NCAA basketball. It's not a bad number for me in NBA. So 6.5, I think, is fine. I think the Heat should be backed and the Hornets should be backed. There was a time, Pete, especially when we were down in Costa Rica, that I wouldn't want a road favorite at this number. But I've changed that tune. I wonder if, and I'm going to start keeping a close eye on it, if these teams, when they're at home, it's worse. Because they hear the booing and they don't want to be there. And I'll keep an eye on it. I'm very interested in both the Hornets and Heat. Maybe it's square and public, but I mean, it's not the way I've been succeeding in NBA. And you saw the record. My winning percentages should have given me a better ROI, but I'm interested in both the Hornets and the Heat, Pete. Maybe it's better to handle live. I think you'd want to have some action on them early just in case it's a smash and grab. Let's roll on. Let's roll on to New Orleans.
Okay, first of all, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to give Atlanta Hawks team total under 125.5 minus 115 official. I'm going to take that because if that one cashes, I'll be mad if it that I didn't give official. All right.
Wait,
Next
can you
game.
give me that number again? Sorry, Pete.
Yeah, I'll give it to you in a second. Hold on, let me
Okay,
just check.
cool.
All right. Next game on the card is Golden State and New Orleans, right? Golden State off a nice 6.5 point home dog win over Denver. Before that, they had been losing. New Orleans very up and down. Both of these teams, putting a bunch of replacement guys on the court. Not clear who's going to be able to do it again. But I thought the first total I saw, which was 225.5, was a little low. No matter who's on the court or who wins, I think they're going to have a decent scoring game here. So I was liking the over, and I think it has gotten bet up. I have no opinion on the side, but I definitely like the over at 225.5, and I think it's gone up since, right?
This is God. I mean, you look at this. Draymond's probable, but Spencer, Melton, Moody, Santos, and Draymond. You think all those fans that bought tickets for Warriors Pelicans are going to be excited with Zingis, Horford, Steph all out? It's just what an ugly lineup here. For the Pelicans, you have no Trey either. Murphy out, Misi out, so it's DeAndre Jordan at the 5. I couldn't imagine uglier basketball, watching DeAndre Jordan and Draymond Green going back and forth at the 5 is just, you'll stop watching NBA is what will happen. You'll be so sick to your stomach here. But let's see if there's a gambling opportunity. I mean, I'm not going to stay off of that. Warriors are on the first half of back-to-back. They play at Memphis tomorrow night. So, already it's a spot where I don't know if you. I mean, it's just, God, I get such a sickening group. I mean, no offense to Spencer. I mean, he's out there trying his hardest, but God, it's some ugly basketball out there. Coming off that huge victory over Denver, that followed up the loss to Boston, and now they head out on the road. First half of back-to-back. Pelicans have been sitting at home, and they got a couple days off after that victory over Philadelphia. Why would the Pelicans not be able to beat? Now, again, no Trey, but I mean, looking at these lineups, I mean, isn't this a lineup where the Pelicans have a stronger lineup? I mean, Sadiq Bey at the 2 is, again, just gross. But Jones, Bey, Williamson, Derek Queen, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, Moody's going to have to be absolutely spectacular to keep them in it. I think the Pelicans should be bet here. 50% of the tickets, 70% of the cash on the Pelicans. Circa's moved this already to a pick'em. All the other books are still hanging -1.5. All the legal books on Golden State. They moved it to a pick'em 20 minutes ago. I'm sure the other books are going to follow. It's the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans can win this game, and the Warriors are going to have an eye on, tomorrow in Memphis. Are the Pelicans trying? That's the problem. That's a huge problem. Are the Pelicans even trying? But if they're trying, they should be able to win this basketball game. So I think they should probably be backed. I'll have to sit afterwards and ensure that this team isn't tanking. Let's just quickly go to those standings here, if you don't mind. This will just take 1 minute here, and I know we're almost done the show here, but let's just go to the bottom of these standings here. So we have New Orleans with 16 wins. God, they don't want to win this game. The Wizards have 16 wins. Brooklyn has 15. Indiana has 15. Sacramento has 13. Now, I mean, they're fully entrenched in the lottery, but because the team that's the 7th team is at 20 wins. And then the 8th is Memphis. So there's your lottery right there. If you're at least top 8 that are favored. Shout out to Guillermo Zertucci in the house. What up, G? I guess the problem here, Peter, is you can't bet the Pelicans despite the Warriors on the first half of back-to-back, despite the Pelicans with what you can perceive as a better starting 5, because they want to lose this basketball game.
Yeah.
So I guess the answer is you pass on this basketball game. I mean, the Warriors are still going to try to win with this group. You know that. And then, God, let's just final touch on this, because the last thing you want to do is be cheering for the Pelicans and not see anybody in the fourth. The starters aren't out there in the fourth quarter. The question you have to ask is, are they mad about beating the Sixers? Do they not? I mean, and then one more thing here. We have God, you know what? Makes me sick. It's just, this is gross to have to balance all this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit with it for longer, Pete. But I would want to back the Pelicans, but I don't know if it's possible. Let's roll on. Let's head to Phoenix.
Okay, next one, Boston, Phoenix. Boston, 3 straight up wins and nice covers. They've been covering since before the break. Phoenix really slumping now, right? 1-5-1 ATS, their last 7. Cover was by 1 point. The losses were by margins. The push was even an OT favorite game. So Phoenix obviously overvalued recently. Boston obviously undervalued recently. Again, why would Boston not roll again here? The line has dropped from like 6.5 to 5, and the total crashed from 209 to 204. Very interesting, right?
Well, Jaylen Brown's out.
Exactly.
So, and Horford's out too, not flush, but yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to back Boston when they're missing Jaylen Brown? This team just, they give you their all. For the Suns, Brooks going to be out for a long time now. Booker out. Who cares about Cole Anthony? Grayson Allen, questionable. But White, Shearman, Harper, Hauser, and Queta, I mean, it's not the kind of lineup that one would hope to be backing with the Boston Celtics, but they're a very appealing basketball team. The problem is it's the first half of a back-to-back. They go visit Jokic tomorrow night in Denver. That's a very difficult situation here. So there's a lot that they're kind of balancing, which is very, very, which is why Jaylen Brown's out. Let's take a look at this line history a little closer. A 5-point spot right now. I guess Jaylen Brown was just announced because this was a 7 at 128 and a 5 at 148. So I guess Jaylen Brown was just announced. I guess if you do want Boston, which I don't know if I do, the more I think about this, I mean, it's very easy to get to Phoenix. You'd want Grayson Allen in. But really, with White, Shearman, Harper, Hauser, and Queta, this team is just going to go into Phoenix and beat them by 3 possessions. I find that difficult to believe. The problem here, you got 54% of tickets, 91% of the cash on Phoenix. It was smart knowing that Jaylen Brown may be out one of these 2 games. 58% of tickets, 92% of the cash at Circa on Phoenix. Why would the Suns not be able to stay within 5 of this game? I mean, even if the Celtics win this game, it's impressive. They win this game by 2 points, it's impressive. How am I just being too square by wanting the Suns here? Dimitri's saying that thinking the unders to play. We know these teams step up without Jaylen Brown. This is going to take more time, but I mean, if you take Booker out of the line, I get the problem is that Brooks is out of the lineup too, but you take Booker out of the lineup, or Booker and Brooks, you take Brown out of the lineup, you say, okay, well, that's equal. And you're still getting 5 points with the Suns at home? I mean, that's appealing. Celtics have to prepare. Sure, they're going to have Brown back tomorrow, but they still have to prepare these guys to play 2 games and 2 nights in elevation. Saturated says it's crazy that Brooks is so key to the Suns' offense. Look, how do you not want those points in your pocket in this game? Fernando says Suns team total under 99.5 for Fernando. Look, maybe it's extremely square, and I'm gonna have to sit with it after the show. But I'm gonna have my basketball action out within half an hour after the show, and I don't see why you wouldn't want the Suns +5 in your pocket. I think it's I think it should be bet. If the Celtics win this game with a buzzer beater, aren't you just so impressed? I want the Suns. Let's talk the Blazers game.
All right, Blazers game. Minnesota off the blowout home loss as a 10-point fave. What happened there in Portland? Seemed like they can definitely handle bad teams, but they get worked by good teams. Minnesota, beat them recently by 25 at home. Again, another kind of obvious, or is it a sucker side here in the NBA? Minnesota, full game, first half, money line if you're scared. Why not, right? Why not?
They have proven to be a pretty easy cap, the Timberwolves, after they get, beaten up and lose. It's their first game on the road. They, I know the All-Star break was breaking up this homestand, but they've been at home for a long time. Maybe they were getting stagnant. Now they get to go out on the road and face Portland. Portland coming off that 92-77 win against the Suns. There's another thing. How do you not back the Suns after they shoot 36 from the field and 26 from three? I mean, how do you not back the Suns after everyone just saw them put up 77 points? And the answer is you back them. You back them after a 77-point showing. But back here, God, you have to. Don't impede. Am I overanalyzing this? Like, the Suns just score 77 points at home. They shoot the ball horribly. So you're going to get accountability and attentiveness. You're always going to get that from the Celtics, but it's the first of a back-to-back. Man, bear, pig on Suns money line here. Another one for Atletico, says Green Beans.
Yep.
There we go. But here, yes, I think that the Timberwolves, should be backed. Let's just make sure that we know exactly the situation. Naz Reid is questionable, and then you have Avdia out and Sharp out. So it's Drew, Kamara, Grant, Sissoko, and Klingon.
Gobert's in for Minnesota, right?
Yeah, Gobert's in. I mean, when Minnesota, shits the bed, they do answer. The interesting thing, though, Pete, is it opened up 5.5, moves to 7, and then at midnight comes back to 5.5. I don't know exactly why that would have been. Now we're back at 7. And when we take a look at the cash flow, you have 92 and 92. 92% of the tickets, 92% of cash on Minnesota, expecting a bounce back. Why wouldn't you get it? Why wouldn't you get a bounce back? This is what they do. They bounce back. Now, it's probably more appealing to back them first half. First game of a road trip, ready to fire. Should be a nice house at the Moda Center. Do you think the first half is a more appealing spot here, Pete?
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Yeah. First half. I mean, first half, and if you wanted to, you could double down with the double result. I'll take a look at what that is as well. Yeah, I'm in, Pete. I think that, I guess if you back the double result, you don't want to have the first half. It's then I don't have to sit with this. Justin on the over 235.5 in his pocket. Look, and let's just go through these spots too, because we've seen them. We've seen them. The Timberwolves, they lose at home by what, 19 to the Clippers. They come back the next night and they beat Atlanta by 22. They lose by 9 at Memphis. 2 nights later, they beat Toronto. They just beat them, though. It was nothing. They lose by 26 at home to Golden State Warriors. The next night, they beat them by 25. They seem to answer when they're embarrassed, generally. They lose 126-102 on New Year's Eve, but lose by 24 at Atlanta. They come back at Miami, beat them by 10. They lose 123-107 at home to Brooklyn the next game. 2 nights later at Chicago, they beat them by 35. I think they just take care of business here. Let's roll on to the next spot on the show.
Okay, and then the last game on the card is Orlando Lakers. Orlando, 3 nice road games since the break. Lakers off 20-point home loss. And now Lakers a 5-point favorite. This is above my pay grade, man. I don't know. Are the Lakers going to bounce back? Orlando, I think, is for real in terms of their, undervaluedness right now.
Yeah, you also have this thing where the road teams like to show out at crypto.
Yeah.
Now you could say the Magic just did that, on Sunday night, beat the Clippers, bounce back from that double overtime loss the night before Phoenix. This is their third game in 4 nights. Now, it's not constant travel. It's their fourth game in 6 nights, Sacramento, Phoenix, and then 2 in LA. This is not a great spot. You have to think after the Lakers get embarrassed that they're the ones that would menace here. But 5.5 is a lot of points. A lot of points. But, the Lakers are similar to Minnesota when they answer. Wine Time says he wants the Magic. The Lakers answer when they no-show, generally. Let's take a look and see who will be in. This is our final spot on the board. Hayes doubtful. Who cares? Suggs questionable. He's important. Wagner out still. What a bet by Wine Time on Friday with the Suggs under 15.5 points. Scores 9 points in 20 minutes. It was fucking perfect. Ron Crawford, Lakers are the spreadsheet play of the day. I can understand some concern about them covering this number. Sitting here at 5.5 right now. Opened up at 6, went down to 5 multiple times. Now we're sitting here at 5.5. And when we get to the cash flow, 53% of tickets, 65% of the cash on the Lakers. Well, that's all well and good, but this has gone from 6 to 5. Yeah. This is fishy. Look, I don't want to fade LA after an embarrassing performance, but the line is telling us that the Magic are certainly live here. So when a team like the Lakers or a team like the Timberwolves get embarrassed, I think it's one-way traffic. You either back them or you stay off. I understand what you're saying about the Magic, Pete. It's completely legitimate. Even without Wagner, they seem to be turning it on, but I guess I'm going to have to. I mean, this is one-way traffic for me. So the books, the sharpest books like Circuit don't care that this money's coming in on the Lakers. So, or excuse me, they don't care. Money's moved to the point towards Magic. So,
all right, Jim, I really do kind of have to go. Is that all right? Is that okay?
Yes, just review your NBA quickly.
Okay, so we got Atlanta, team total under 125.5 minus 115. And we'll also go with Minnesota first half -3, -107. We'll do that.
Pete, keep up the good work, my man. It's been great rocking with you. Can't wait to see you in San Antonio. But you cannot leave, Pete.
Yeah.
Until we have the LoBag Parlay that cashed a plus 228 last week.
I think I'm going to put in, my money line parlay, Virginia and Morehead State. I think I'll make that my pick for the parlay. You can parlay both of those, all books, Virginia, Morehead State money lines.
Okay, so it's Virginia, Morehead State
money lines.
Okay.
And, depending on where you look, it should be about 150 or so.
And then I will add the third of the trio there. Yeah. Peter, much love, my friend. I will be in touch, pal, and get after it, man. Get that cash and stay hot.
And by the way, Atletico Madrid's up 3-1 now. Looks like they're going to get it.
Nice job. There he is.
Mamelodi is also up 1-0. So that's looking good also.
It's just so easy. It's just
all right.
So easy.
Thanks so much. See you next week. Thank you very much.
There. Peter Loshak in the house. All right, let's do a review of all action, and then I will give my spot on the SGP here. So, Pig Milk play today, New Mexico double result at plus 180. Justin McKelvey stacks play today, number 1, Arizona State plus 6.5. Number 2, Tennessee, Missouri over 144.5. The Nuke Worker on Eastern Michigan plus 10 against the mighty Miami of Ohio. Redhawks. Slow Jams Arsenal is on Marquette plus 3.5. He says Hoyas have no business giving any points. J Dub on West Virginia plus 1.5. Michigan minus 21.5. Dayton plus 4.5. Flank stake play today's Milwaukee Bucks plus 5.5. He's on Brooklyn Nets money line, Warriors money line, Tennessee minus 3.5, Cincinnati plus 5.5, St. Louis minus 4.5. The Spoons is on Marquette plus 3.5, Kentucky minus 5.5, St. Louis minus 4.5, Bradley plus 3, Florida State plus 3, Auburn minus 1.5. Rob Freeze on the Warriors money line, the Heat first half money line, Bradley plus 3.5, La Tech and K-State money line parlay. Then in college basketball, NCAA play of the day from Ronnie Crawford, LaSalle. Taint play of the day is Buffalo plus 16.5 here. And the bets that I made earlier are, so I have 6 bets before I got you. UIC -3, Oklahoma +2, Troy -12, LaSalle first half +3.5, Texas Tech -6.5, and Virginia -6.5. Then possible additions here. I understand the line's moving towards Rutgers quickly. Look, I could have had it last night at a better number. I had cold feet, and I'm just going to let it be. The line didn't make any sense to me with the way Washington plays on the road. I just got to let it be. I wanted Notre Dame first half. I got off of it. A pooty, man. Nice, Jason. Man, I Puda. I miss Puda. Miss Puda, Jason. I can't take Notre Dame with the line move towards Duke the way it was. I wanted to fade them. Pete's using Virginia as part of the money line parlay. Virginia, Morehead State. That gets it started. And I will see who I add into that. A DC Capper, Bookie Buster play today. Kent State -10.5. And then I had interest in Georgetown. I'm not going to go up against everybody there. The Louisiana first half +6.5 here by our guy Peter makes me uncomfortable because I am on Troy, but I wanted to be on Marshall. That move towards ODU stopped me in my tracks. Happened during the show. I'm very interested in Coastal Carolina still. I have some interest in Baylor and Missouri. I wanted to be on Colorado State. It feels like that 8.5 is too much here. Boise State, I will look a little more into, and I'm already, as you guys know, into Oklahoma. My guy Wine Time says, great show, fellas. Looking forward to a loaded card tomorrow. Yeah, man. Pumped up to have you rocking with us. So here in NBA, this is what will take my attention here after the show. But you have the Sixers. The Sixers I find appealing. The Wizards are so public that I'm going to have to stay off of it. Brooklyn interests me. Toronto as well. I understand the Cavs spot here, but I've got some hesitancy. The Hornets and the Heat, I like both those spots. I wish I could be on the Pelicans. I don't know if I can. They just beat the Bulls. Are they going to allow this lineup to win again? It's hard to have faith in these teams that are trying to get the best opportunity, for the Bonsa and for Peterson. The Suns appeal to me at +5. Minnesota first half and double result after that no-show. So let's quickly take a look at my addition to the LoBag Parlay here. And I'd like to look at 2 things, and then I will we'll pull triggers here. So let me just move over here. I want to just make sure exactly what line we are getting. So give me 1 second here. And let's move on to, move over to NBA. Okay, let's take a look at what we're dealing with. All right, Justin, thank you, man. Thank you, all of you guys, for your support. It absolutely means a ton. And very, very pumped up about Palooza 5. So a quick look here at the line history. And yeah, okay. The LoBag Parlay today is a little different. I don't think that we're always going to be moving in this direction, but it is a money line parlay. It is a money line parlay. So it's 2 games in college basketball, and it is 2 games in the NBA. We have Virginia, Morehead State, Miami Heat, and Minnesota Timberwolves, all on the money line. So the 2 spots from Peter, Morehead State. So I'm going to put this in at 365, but I'm going to shop around, see what the best book is here. So let's just grab Morehead State and Virginia and see what this 4-team parlay is at here quickly. We cashed last week, so we're 1-0. Why can't I find it here? Sorry. Quickly get the Morehead State. Okay, there we go. And then Virginia. And it's a plus 224 parlay. We had a plus 228 casher on last Tuesday, this Tuesday. So it's Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, Morehead State, Virginia. 2 in college, 2 in NBA. This is the most important time for me now. Going over all the notes, everything that we've talked about here in the chat, copied and pasted so much of your action. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Jose Bouquet, our producer, working hard behind the scenes. And shout out to Jay Peasy for locking down our new intro. And our outro is on the way. So new stuff here for us at Pub Sports Radio. We have a huge night tonight. Locker Room Talk Podcast. The premiere Locker Room Talk Podcast out this evening. And betting with the bag. Tomorrow we have It's Durrell, Wine Time Sports, Dabby Cab, and AM for hockey. NHL back in business. So thank you to all of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your support. Man, Bear, Pig, Swiggy, Justin McKelvey, Wine Time Sports, Jason Meyer, the El Dorado custodian. Thank you, man. Slow Jams, We Do, Grand Vato. Thank you, man. Dimitri, thank you. Ronnie Crawford, Malek, Crip Key, Joseph Gomez, Green Beans. Thank you, guys. Fernando Mendoza, Saturated, Acacia, Miss Smokes a Lot. Thank you guys all for your support. Robert Cherry, my man, won 2K last week. Oh, I love to hear that, man. Get it. Guillermo Zertucci, love to you and the fam. Billy Friedrich, Coin, Kelly McInnes, Spooner, Martez Denny. Thank you guys. On behalf of all of us, Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys so much for your support. And shout out to our guy, Stephen Fehrenbach, for fixing my mistake. Sending the cash back means a lot to us. You're a good man. On behalf of all of us, Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys, man. Now let's go get this money. Leche! Hey, Los Bookmakers. Look at that.